Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Reuters reports the man accused of fatally shooting 11 worshippers in a Pittsburgh synagogue during Sabbath prayers pled not guilty on Thursday to federal hate crimes charges and other offenses as the city's Jewish community buried 3 more of its dead. Robert Bowers, who had been wounded in a gunfight with police and made his initial court appearance on Monday shackled to a wheelchair, walked into Thursday's proceedings upright and without the need of assistance, wearing a red jumpsuit and a bandage on his left arm. He spoke little other than to say he understood the charges against him and that some of them could lead to the death penalty. He then entered a plea of not guilty to all 44 counts against him. He also requested a jury trial. Bowers appeared sure of foot and exuded a demeanor of confidence, answering questions put to him by U.S. District Judge Robert Mitchell in a clear voice and signing papers with a steady hand. The indictment returned against him on Wednesday includes 11 counts of obstructing free exercise of religion resulting in death and 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder. A one-time truck driver who frequently posted anti-Semitic slurs and conspiracy theories online, Bowers is accused of bursting into the Tree of Life synagogue last Saturday with a semi-automatic rifle and 3 pistols and opening fire in the midst of Sabbath prayers as he shouted, "All Jews must die." In addition to the mostly elderly congregants who died, 2 were wounded along with 4 police officers before the suspect was shot by police and surrendered. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty. Bowers has also been charged in state court with 11 counts of criminal homicide and 13 counts of ethnic intimidation, though authorities have said prosecution of the federal case will take precedence.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Antiwar.com reports in their latest damning audit of the Afghan war, the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction found that the Central Command had been routinely violating the deployment requirements for advisors to Afghanistan. Under mandated deployment rules, anyone being sent to Afghanistan to serve as an advisor is meant to undergo advisor training first. Only about half of those surveyed received any training at all, and mostly not the right sorts of training. Saigar further found that the Pentagon does not have any metrics to gauge what progress, if any, is being achieved in the costly advisory programs. They not only haven't been tracking it, but they don't have the means to attempt to do so. Saigar warned that with no goal set and no way to measure progress, it's impossible to tell if anything was accomplished. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Following the announcement of First Communion, The Holy Spookerist, the first hardcore pornographic movie to be filmed in Vatican City since 1982's classic adult feature Pope Fisters 4, Onion reporter spoke to Herschel Savage, director of the film.
It's a huge honor for me and everyone else involved with this film. This is where they shot Pope Fisters 4. I mean, that movie's a masterpiece. Well, when we wrote up the script, we sent it over to the Vatican to get the Pope's approval and see if he had any notes, but he loved it just the way it was.
The highly anticipated pornographic film, which stars Ron Jeremy as the horny sea himself, Pope Benedict the 69th, will reportedly contain graphic sex scenes filmed in the Sistine Chapel, St. Peter's Square, and the Pope-mobile, among various other notable sites within the Vatican.
Well, actually, I'm just watching a cut of this amazing scene we shot last night where Pope Benedict is gangbanging a bunch of nuns in his bed, and it was great because the Pope let us use his bedroom. Tomorrow we're shooting the scene where 2 nuns f*** each other on St. Peter's tomb using strap-on crucifixes. I think people are really going to like this movie.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. If you want, you may do so. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. And that is a way that you can get on the air with us and talk about what you want and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio. So go to discord.lrn.fm if you want to get connected there. With you in that very studio, or this very studio, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
All right, so of course you can take control of the airwaves. Congratulations, Melanie. You are celebrating tonight because it is now your 3rd anniversary here in the Shire.
Thank you.
Here in New Hampshire. And Mark, you and I just celebrated 16 years of doing Free Talk Live.
That's right.
Over the weekend. Wait, are we entering year 6? We're entering year 17 now,
Entering
right?
year 17, yes.
Right. So, yeah.
Still have to convince people I do this for a living.
Yeah, you were just talking with Laurel about that last night off the air, and she was surprised by it.
How? What? Look, it's a nationally syndicated radio program. Do you not think that Rush Limbaugh does this for a living?
I suspect Rush Limbaugh makes a heck of a lot more.
A lot more, but that's what makes it believable that I could do this to make a living.
It took a while, though. I mean, it wasn't radio. My mentor in radio, who has now passed away, God rest his soul, Bob Garrett, had told me that, you really don't make anything in radio until you're in it for 10 or 15 years at minimum, basically. And that turns out to be pretty true in my experience.
Okay.
So,
well,
were you going to say something?
It seemed like as a national show that we should begin making money before we did, but we sure didn't. So it took a while to sort of build upon that, and thank goodness for the angels, the people who believe in the ideas of liberty, those that wanted to support us, because I don't know what would have happened without them.
Like Jason Osborne and Sickle CAI,
yeah.
He was really the first one, and then
Roger Veer came along. But those are...
And our amplifiers as well.
The fact that they have money is one thing. It's their attitude towards the ideas of liberty that I think that's important. And so there's plenty of people, the amplifiers and those sorts of things that have supported us, and many advertisers along the way that have supported us for the reason of supporting us. As opposed to necessarily thinking that radio was the best venue for, say, a collections company like Sickle CAI.
Or a memory manufacturer like Memory Dealers,
right.
Which is what Roger Veer did before he became Bitcoin Jesus. So, yes, celebrations all around. Of course, Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin, just celebrating its 10th anniversary, its 10th birthday on October 31st. Now, some would argue that it doesn't actually get born until the code was released in January, but arguably the beginning of Bitcoin was the white paper that was released October 31st in 2008. So there's a lot of things to celebrate here, but Melanie, you came
By the way, we can celebrate the winning of the LD20 coins, the 10 of them, by Stuart Bolton.
Cool, yeah.
I
was going to get into that a little later on here tonight, so we'll talk about the Liberty Dollar 2 later. But you can bring up whatever you want here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. So, Melanie, you moved up here as part of the migration, the liberty migration of libertarian, anarchists, voluntarists, people who love freedom, who've been moving here for more than a decade now. Because, Mark, you and I came here in 2006. You celebrated your 3rd year today. And so looking back, you moved up from Louisiana. You're obviously happy. You've stuck it out, right? Because some people
got married, so
some people leave.
Things seem to be working out.
Some people, it's too cold for them, or their family wants them back, or whatever their reason. They got a job somewhere else. They leave. You're here. You just got married. You're putting down roots, it seems like. Reflect on the last 3 years. Was it a good choice?
Yeah, definitely. I should have done it earlier, but, whatever. It's the place on earth that, and I don't want to be like move to Somalia, but you should, for your sake, not for, the sake of whoever wants you gone necessarily.
You're talking about the statement that people make, well, if you don't like this country, why don't you move to Somalia? As though...
the suggestion is Somalia doesn't have a government, and so therefore...
Somalia has 4 governments, but yeah.
Right.
So
we didn't say that it was a correct statement. We just said that it's a statement, yeah.
Yeah, but you should, for your own sake, you should be wherever on earth it is that fits you best, and this is, obviously I'm still doing things to make stuff better, but whether
Wait a minute, are you saying that just because you're born on a certain plot of land doesn't necessarily mean that that's the place that fits you best? Because it seems like a lot of people think that. It's like, oh, well, this is where I was born, so this is the place for me.
There is some logic to that argument, but outliers do exist, I guess. Most people where I was from were happy there. I don't know how, but whatever.
There's something that humans have that is they just love the place where they were born. And it doesn't have anything to do with logic. It doesn't have anything to do with any kind of analysis over, is this actually the best place for me? I was randomly pushed out of somebody's, place that babies get pushed out of. And oh, here I am. Well, I really love this place. I love the football teams here, and the weather's great. I mean, it's like they convince themselves that staying in the same place is the optimal, and it's not. There's an optimal place for you, and it's probably not the random place that you happen to be birthed.
I was born in Sarasota, Florida, and I can tell you millions of people decided that Florida was a better place to live.
They moved there.
Yeah, they moved there. They picked up their lives and moved there, usually after they'd availed themselves of the schooling up north, and then finally they go and retire down to Florida, and then they don't want to pay anything for property taxes, but whatever.
Yeah, so if you want to weigh in here, you're welcome to. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We talked, I think it was last night, about how the Christians ought to pick up and move to one place. The whole Christian Exodus thing never should have died off. It should have actually become a thing. Where they tried to basically, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I don't know if they all fit in one place.
They tried to, well, again, not all the libertarians are going to get up and move to New Hampshire.
Right, but all of us would fit in New Hampshire, unfortunately.
That's true.
Whereas all the Christians in the world aren't going to fit in one place.
No, and all the Christians don't agree. So maybe the Christian fundamentalists should have a place. Maybe the not so fundamentalists should have a place. The Catholics should have a place. The Protestants should have a place, or
the
whatever.
People who can get along in one state should move to one state.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I don't want to say for somebody else what the most important thing for you is, and so then therefore that's where you should move to. Maybe the fact that you're Episcopalian isn't the most important thing to you in a society.
Mm-hmm. Some people it is.
And so then they should go, live with a bunch of Episcopalians, but you have more than one quality. That's not your own quality. To me, the most important thing is being an anarchist.
Well,
so
right.
I went to live with all the other anarchists.
Right. You did what your highest calling was. And for a lot of religious people, ostensibly, that's their highest calling. Now, there's people who have religion, but they don't go to church. They're just not that into it. They might believe in Jesus or something like that, but they don't really, they're not churched. They don't follow any one particular thread. And I wouldn't think those people are motivated to move anywhere based on their religion. But for the people who truly do have a belief system that they want to follow, they ought to follow it, and they ought to come together, and that way they can actually have more of a semblance of a society that reflects their values than what we currently have. Because we were talking about this idea of a civil war, and some people seem to subscribe to this.
That's a really fringe position, though.
What, the Civil War, or that you should move to where you?
The Civil War, the religious Western Civil War.
Is it fringe? Because I'm hearing it all over the place. I mean,
people have been talking about this Civil War my whole life.
Is that true?
People have been yes, okay. It's true. They're just out of their minds. There's not going to be a Civil War.
There's people on this show who believe in this Civil War thing. So.
Excellent.
Okay, a theistic Civil War.
Have Conan come on here and talk about it.
A Civil War, period.
Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with being Christian, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying it does,
okay.
But certainly the Christians. I mean, you guys were just talking on Call to Freedom about a story we covered over the weekend here on Free Talk Live, which was about this state representative in Washington State who believes in a holy war and wants to foment one. So anyway, rather than going to war with people, just regroup. This is a common tactic in battles, right? If you're losing, you retreat
if you
and you
hate
regroup.
the place you live so much that you'd like to go to war, leave.
Yeah, right. Just leave and retreat to where your people are. They're not in one place. Figure out a place and get them there. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a 0-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, inviting you to join us here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Whether you want to talk about a supposedly impending civil war, although, Mark, you're critical of the concept, and Melanie, you don't think the civil war is coming?
The U.S. Civil War.
Another civil war. Some sort of... Nobody seems to know what the sides are going to be in this civil war.
That's really, really important.
So that makes it hard to say if it's feasible or not.
It's just that people seem to think something's brewing.
Like, are you asking me, is there going to be another war in the history? Like, yes, there is going to be a war at some point with undefined side, as of yet undefined sides.
But in the United States.
Ever? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Like...
I don't know. I mean, I think at some point humans will just stop with war, but
I hope so. But
isn't there
really
evidence that
doubt
it's happening less often?
It's supposedly
worldwide?
happening less often. I guess I would like to know this before we discuss the outbreak of some kind of civil war in the United States. Please give me examples of sort of civil wars breaking out in this country or other country between sort of sides that because we don't really have ethnic groups in the United States.
There's a lot of mixing.
It's the idea is a melting pot, right? Mm-hmm. I understand there are a lot of people that don't like the melting pot idea, that they want diversity and all that other stuff. I get it. Those people do not have the numbers. Whatever those numbers are, they don't have them. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's what I need to know. I need to know who the sides are and give me some historical examples of stuff like this happening.
Yeah. I'm not on the side of the people who believe in the Civil War. I'm just reporting that people seem to think. And as we were talking about it, Michael Hampton walks by,
life.
And he says that he thinks that something's going to happen.
People have been talking about it my whole life. I think that the best examples that we've got are race riots that have broke out in places like Watts and Compton and after the Rodney King thing and things like that. Those are the best examples of stuff like that, and they haven't really spread any further.
Coming up, so again, we kind of touched on the idea that people should go into their own place and, find a place on the map that they think people who think like them should go to, whether it be Christians or libertarians or whatever, and we talked about that last night. And we never got to the story, Mark, you just pointed this out. We never got to the story about the Bitcoiner who wants to create some sort of Bitcoin oasis in Nevada.
That's right.
We're going to get into that. Plus, there's a story over at The Guardian that somebody posted in our show prep group on discord.lrn.fm that claims the American Civil War never ended and that Trump is a Confederate president. So
it's an interesting place for a New Yorker.
We can continue on the Civil War topic if you want. Of course, you can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you are a libertarian, you're probably going to enjoy the Tom Woods Show. He talks about war, talks about the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. In fact, a lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Tom is a New York Times best-selling author. He's written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And since September of 2013, Tom Woods has been putting out his Tom Woods Show every single weekday, which means he's got over 1,200 episodes so far. Great guests like Ron Paul and Judge Andrew Napolitano and more. Go to tomwoods.com. You'll find it there. Or you can just search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. So, Mark, let's jump into this story that we teased all last night and never ended up getting to about some Bitcoin billionaire
It's not like that's
guy.
ever happened here on Free Talk Live. I mean,
So anyway, some kind of Bitcoin billionaire has a plan for some arid part of the desert in Nevada. Tell me about
Story County, Nevada. You can look that up on the Maps program.
Alrighty,
there.
Story County.
Yeah, an enormous plot of land in the Nevada desert, bigger than nearby Reno. And so I might very well have gone through this recently. I stopped off in Nevada at Reno to see a friend of the show, John T. Kennedy.
He calls in on occasion.
Yep, he is. He's an impressive mind. There's no doubt. And I spent 24 hours there. Ended up in Tahoe. It was pretty cool.
Story County has a population of approximately 4,000 people.
Okay. It's bigger than nearby Reno and has been the subject of local intrigue since a company with no history, Blockchains LLC, bought it for $170 million in cash this year.
So they bought a plot of land. Or wait, were they saying Story County's bigger than Reno, or the plot of land that this blockchain buyer?
Plot of land is bigger than Reno.
Okay, got it.
It's enormous is the word used. Enormous.
For $170 million in the middle of the desert, it better be enormous, because why would you pay that much money?
Desert is an exaggeration of what's going on there. But
really? Is there something besides desert in Nevada? I've never been there.
Right. So. You're from Florida and have lived for 12 years in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I will forgive you for calling it desert because that's how I feel when I look at this.
Okay.
However, it isn't. Desert has a definition, and this doesn't fit it. Okay?
All right. Well, what is there desert? There is desert in Nevada, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is this?
A man who owns the company, a lawyer, and a cryptocurrency millionaire named Jeffrey Burns put on a helmet and climbed into a Polaris off-road vehicle last week to give a tour of the sprawling property and dispel a bit of the mystery. He imagines a sort of experimental community spread over about 100 square miles where houses, schools, commercial districts, and production studios will be built. The centerpiece of this giant project will be the blockchain, a new kind of database that was introduced by Bitcoin. After his driver stopped the Polaris on a high desert plateau, there you go, right? Surrounded by blooming rabbit bush and a grazing herd of wild horses, Mr. Burns, who's 56, pointed to the highlights of his dream community. You see that first range of mountains, he said, pointing to the south? Those mountains are the border of our South Valley. That's where we're going to build the high-tech park, a research campus that would cover hundreds of acres. There are also plans for a college and an e-gaming arena.
Of course.
As strange, even fantastical as all this might sound, Mr. Burns' ambitions fit right into the idiosyncratic world of cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I'm not exactly sure what seems fantastical here. Somebody buys a piece of land, decides
with a vision.
With a vision, decides to build a city.
Disney World. Nevada. I mean, Nevada's full of these places, right?
Right. The idea that you can do this is not unfounded.
Proven. Yeah,
it's clearly able to be done.
Now, whether he'll be successful with it or not is another question, but it can be done.
He needs to get investors. He needs to get people with money to.
Oh, so he doesn't have enough to bankroll this by himself?
He'd have to have a whole lot. If he just spent
he did buy the land, right?
$170 million for the land.
Well, yeah. So of course, if he can pitch it to enough people, and maybe he'll get some other
sell
people
some land, with some deed restrictions or whatever. Get this building built.
Remember years ago when we were in Florida, there was that Ave Maria town that was ostensibly being built by the founder of Domino's Pizza.
As I understand, it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Catholic town near Fort Myers, Florida, where you can go and
you can't buy contraception in the stores.
Be Catholic all the time, and it's fun.
That's what we're talking about here, right? Like people who have a certain belief system ought to act on that belief system more than just talking.
Right. I mean, the people who want to be Catholic can go to Ave Maria. People who want to be homeless can go to Portland, Oregon. It's fine.
Yeah. You're going to have to back that statement up because it's hilarious.
There are tents on the sidewalks. Yeah. they are building houses on the sidewalks.
We should talk more about that. I'll make a note. It's Free Talk Live because you visited recently. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Why is the black man black and the white man white? God said, mansaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. God said, mansaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously. You possess the world's greatest treasure. GodSaidManSaid.com. Sin Bones, St. Peter's Fish, hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidManSaid.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
College roommates continue their bonding process until real friends are made, and a teacher hopes they never Google him. It's time for the weekly video feature that's heartier and more comforting than a heaping bowl of mom's butternut squash soup. This is the Onion Week in Review. Longtime James F. Blaine Elementary School teacher Suzanne Pomponio told reporters today that she could not believe how much fatter her second graders are getting. Pomponio estimates that each and every one of her kids must be 8 to 10 pounds heavier than anyone in her 2011 class, adding, quote, "and those kids were pretty fat too."
Honestly, I didn't think it was possible that this year's kids could be fatter than last year's, but they are. I mean, short kids are fat, tall kids are fat, and there's a smell. I don't really know how to describe it.
Local dad Michael Carrain navigated several discount travel websites today with a precision reminiscent of 18th century Viennese prodigy Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart composing a symphony.
This is the Onion News Network.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free. Take control of the airwaves and bring up anything you want. Is it going to be a Bitcoin paradise in the middle of Nevada? I guess not really the middle. It's kind of the western edge of Nevada, where a very large plot of land. Did you say it was $170 million worth of land?
That's correct.
Mark? Does it say the size and the acreage as far as what he got for that kind of money?
That doesn't come to mind from when I read the article previously. So
it's a lot of land, right? Because this
enormous is the term that they used.
This is basically, you said it's not a desert.
Well, they did call it the high desert here. I would say as a person who just traveled through the area that there's some areas that are arid that look like desert to me. Like I all I can do is admit to not being an expert. That the term desert has a definition, and I wouldn't propose to stick, since it's a sort of a pejorative term, I wouldn't propose to stick, well, I mean,
a
how do you
region
feel
so
about
arid because of little rainfall that it supports only sparse and widely spaced vegetation or no vegetation at all.
Right. I think it's fewer than 10 inches per year is what a desert is.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the rainfall is in that area of
Nor do I. That's why I'm being kind of careful with the term.
So anyway, it doesn't say here that it's generally a negative connotation, though. It's just a desert.
How do you feel when you say desert?
I don't feel anything.
Feel positively?
I feel nothing. It's just it sounds like a place I don't want to live. I'll say that.
That it would be a negative connotation.
But it is what it is. A desert is just what it is, and I just don't want to live there. That's all.
Well,
so
the fact that you don't want to live there, I think, is a negative connotation. How's that?
That's just a negative opinion about that. Anyway, going on.
This is all that we're talking about here is opinions.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the word.
I'm not saying that in fact deserts are bad, although I will say that if you collect 46 million people in one state that tends to be pretty arid, that you're probably going to have some water problems. Look at you, California. But what I am saying is that I have a negative feeling about the idea of living in a desert.
Okay, that's fine.
And you have a negative feeling about living in and that means that I'm going to just go ahead and project to the audience that lots of people have that negative feeling. So I'm not going to use the term desert to describe this area since I don't know what the frickin' rainfall is, Ian.
Well, you can look that up easy, dude.
I could. I just don't care
enough.
enough.
Go to weather.com and put in the zip code or whatever, and
I
it'll tell you.
didn't call it a desert, so I don't have the burden of proof here.
All right. So anyway, there's this Bitcoin guy. He's paid $170 million for this large plot of land in some place where there's only 4,000 people living right now. So there's not a whole lot of people there.
Right. He's going to be a voting bloc here shortly.
It did say the plot of land was larger than Reno. And
That's
he has
correct.
a plan to build all kinds of things, right?
Right.
Pick up the story if you would.
Yep. The blockchain began as a digital ledger in which all the Bitcoin transactions are recorded.
10 years ago.
Yeah. Some aficionados have grander plans. They think it could be a new way of taking power back from the institutions they believe are calling all the shots. Just
like
as
the banks and the government.
Just as Bitcoin made it possible to transfer money without using a bank, blockchain believers like Burns believe that the technology will make it possible for ordinary people to control their own data, the lifeblood of the digital economy, without relying on big companies or governments. There's a fuzzy line. I would agree with this, yes. There's a fuzzy line between these utopian visions and get-rich-quick schemes. Several cryptocurrency projects have been shut down by regulators. Apparent hucksters have been arrested, and a plan to transform Puerto Rico with cryptocurrencies has been criticized as nothing more than a bid to take advantage of the island's status as a tax haven. Why would you create a tax haven if you didn't want people to take advantage of it?
Well, that was only for my friends. It wasn't for like everybody.
Well, right. Did we create this tax haven so that a bunch of Republicans would move here, or whatever it is that their claim is? I don't know. This is I hate this stuff. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
All right.
Mr. Burns was drawn to Nevada by its tax benefits. Mr. Burns is clearly an imperialist here to take over rural Nevada. Yeah, including the lack of income taxes and the breadth of his ambitions certainly rises to the risk of a boondoggle. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. This could fail.
Well, of course, any investment could fail like that.
But is he different from his cryptocurrency? But he's different from his cryptocurrency brethren in one big way. He's spending his own money. So far, he said he'd spent $300 million on the land, offices, planning, and a staff of 70 people.
Wow. This guy's serious.
And buying 6,700 largely undeveloped acres is a bit of an old-fashioned real estate risk-taking.
Yeah.
So
okay.
This place is huge. Still, Mr. Burns said his ambition was to find out how big Cheshire County is in acres. Still, Mr. Burns said his ambition was not to be a real estate magnate or even to get rich or richer. By the way, if he spent this kind of money, he's already rich. He doesn't need to be richer.
Right.
So
still, though, I mean, you said he spent $170 million on this?
On the land, and then
on 6,700 acres?
Yes.
That's $25,000 per acre.
That's ridiculous.
I know. That's what I was saying earlier when you gave me the number. I'm like, my God, I didn't even know what the acreage was, and now that I know, I mean, what is this guy thinking? I mean, you had at one point 11 acres in a town to the west of here, and
zoned commercially with all the water you could use.
And what was the per acre cost on that?
Like $10,000.
Okay,
less than $10,000. No, it was. Yeah, significantly less than $10,000.
Because frequently, if you get in some undeveloped land, it's like what, below $1,000 an acre or something like that.
Right. If you can't, so it depends. In New Hampshire, all I can talk about is locally. I haven't scoured the globe looking for real estate or anything. But locally, you can get land upon which you cannot build a house. Should be about $1,000 an acre. Now, if you get a large plot and you can build a house on it, then you've got this kind of fuzzy math. So it's like $10,000 an acre for land you could build a house on. It's $1,000 an acre for land you cannot. And there's lots of acreage here that's zoned, so basically you can't build a house. But you could build a cabin, and that cabin could be a 3-season cabin in which you live in year-round. And it's basically what a house is something with a leach field.
I mean, unless there's a gold mine underneath this place, $25,000 per acre seems insane. I don't know who it was that sold this to this guy, but he or she is a very happy person right now. Woohoo! Just sold $170 million worth of flat, dry land to some gringo. What?
And he spent $300 million on the land, offices, planning, and staff of 70 people.
Yeah. Wow.
I have to say, once you've calculated that part out, that I'm hoping the best for Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns.
Still, Mr. Burns said his ambition was not to be a real estate magnate or even to get rich or richer. He's
got plenty of money. If you can drop $100 and $300 million on a speculative concept, then you probably have billions, would be my guess.
Could be. He's promising to give away all decision-making power for the project and 90% of any dividends it generates to a corporate structure that will be held by residents, employees, and future investors.
So a true private town, basically, is what he's talking about.
I think a lot of towns started this way. I mean, ultimately, what was a town? It was probably a general store, and somebody owned the general store, maybe some surrounding area. Hey, will you run the saloon? That kind of thing. That in a lot of ways, this is how towns started. They were just somebody who's out there servicing, especially out west, servicing miners, that kind of thing. Pretty rough places.
Yeah, I saw there was a picture in my hotel room in Austin of oil derrick girls, and they were servicing people too, I think, which is what that picture was about.
That structure, which he calls a distributed collaborative entity, is supposed to operate on a blockchain where everyone's ownership rights and voting powers will be recorded in a digital wallet. Mr. Burns acknowledged that this is all way beyond what blockchains have actually accomplished, but that hasn't discouraged him. I don't know why, he said over the roar of the Polaris, and something inside me tells me this is the answer, that if we can get enough people to trust the blockchain, we can begin to change all the systems we operate by. And I like that. So computer code, it doesn't play favorites. Obviously, it has a programmer, but what we've seen from the blockchain in the first 10 years, this is a trustless technology. It doesn't matter who you know. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You just operate. It's just a computer program that operates.
We got more about this vision. Is there a name for it yet? Has he come up with a town name or something like that? More in the
Innovation Park?
More in a moment here. 855 450 free. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation to install a wallet and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Extendivite really works. Just listen to what some people have to say.
Several years ago, I was developing a very severe situation. I called it my flippy heart. It was doing not good things, and I did not want to go to a medical doctor because I just knew they would give me a cover-up pill. I didn't want to get onto that sort of thing at all. When I learned it was garlic and cayenne, and cayenne is a healer. It is a wonderful herb. I said, I think I'm onto something here. I'll tell you, I wouldn't be without it. It did wonderful things for me.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon.
That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Turns out Mark is correct. Story County, Nevada, according to bestplaces.net, receives 14 whole inches of rain on average per year, which puts it 40% above the definition of desert, which is to say desert is 10 inches of rain maximum per year. So there you go. You were correct, Mark.
Say it again.
You were correct, Mark.
Mr. Burns has managed to win over local officials who are eager for economic development.
Well,
what does economic development mean when local officials are eager for it?
Well, I mean, in Story County's position of 4,000 people living there, any economic development they would be eager for. So of
they're
course
eager
they're
for
excited.
property taxes. Come on.
Well, that too, yeah. I mean, they're excited about anything that brings more money into their county. We're going to get back into this. You're talking about a Bitcoin, I don't know, theme park slash, what's the best word for this? City? A Bitcoin city?
City.
Bitcoin oasis in the middle of Nevada. We'll get back into it coming up here in moments. We're going to go to your calls and thoughts, but I do want you to know that Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com, and they are delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. A lot of people have, wondered, well, what can I do with my cryptocurrency? You can buy almost anything now with your cryptocurrency, specifically with Bitcoin Cash. Many of the world's leading brands are on their roster, including Applebee's, Home Depot, Uber, Hotels.com, Nike, Domino's, and more. Just visit giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the gift card you want, or more than one.
It's that easy.
Follow the instructions on screen and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Then sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com. As we go to the phones, he is Matt in Ohio, listening online. Go ahead, Matt.
Hi. I haven't listened to you in a while, but I was curious. Do you both believe in evolution or creation?
There's three people on the show today.
Oh, is there three now?
There's Ian and Mark, and also Melanie, although she hasn't been commenting much on the Bitcoin town. So what do you think about evolution, Melanie?
It's a thing that happens.
Okay.
No, that's happens, not happened.
Continuing to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will agree with Melanie on that. Mark, you want to weigh in on this? Let's go through the whole panel.
I think evolution certainly exists. It's demonstrable. But I would also say that I think that there's some kind of creative force beyond it.
Right. I would also agree with that in that God created evolution. So I don't think that they're separated necessarily. And I know there's some people who believe that they have to be separate. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, here's three little quick questions regarding that. There is a box with all the parts required for building a functional bike. How long would it take for those parts to assemble themselves into a working bike?
Well, I suppose
what's the relevance of this question?
The idea is that it's highly unlikely for amino acids to create life.
That's also not how evolution works. So you don't just have like a box of DNA and just sit there until it becomes like a mammal.
Well, the point is that even a simple machine requires somebody to put all the parts together in an intelligent order for them to form something.
A simple
that works.
machine is an inanimate object, though,
Right.
not a biological organism.
That's where the second question comes in. There is a planet with all the materials required for making a living human. How long would it take for all of those materials to assemble themselves to form a living human?
That is nowhere near enough information to answer that question, and if it was, I wouldn't be qualified to answer it.
I'd say the answer is several hundred
billions
million
of years.
Several hundred millions of years.
Well, if an inanimate object couldn't put itself together, what makes you think something that's alive could put itself together?
Because it's not putting itself together. It's developing from a lesser or less complex form of itself.
Over a long time.
Like from a lightning bolt, which destroys stuff.
What's a lightning bolt have to do with this?
That is not my current understanding of abiogenesis, but I am not a biologist.
Can you state?
He's not either.
Hold on, Matthew. Can you state to me just a brief, broad strokes for what the ideas of evolution are?
Well, Darwin seemed to think that one form of life could eventually turn into another type of life.
You don't think that's possible? Have you seen a bonobo and a chimpanzee?
Well, the thing is...
Have you seen a dog or a cat?
What do you mean by that? Have you seen a dog or a cat?
But what? I mean, we evolved dogs and cats.
You mean humans had a hand in it, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at animals and insects and plants, they produce things that are after their own kind. They
kind is not a biological distinction. We have species, we have kingdoms, we have subspecies, we have other denominations. Kind is not a scientific denomination.
We don't want your cat around here.
Exactly. And you never see like one species of animal, say a dog becoming a cat. Or a cat.
You do see species of animals becoming other species.
I see dogs having
speciation is an observed thing.
Yeah, I see dogs having dogs with different color coats. I see them having different types of temperaments. I see them having larger and smaller puppies. I mean, it's not like my child. Well, in my case, it might very well be that he is just a clone of me. But in most cases, people have several children. They don't look exactly like mommy and daddy.
Do you believe, Matt, that from your whatever perspective of religion you have, do you believe that your God just sort of placed everything everywhere on the earth at one point and it's always been the same since then?
I believe that if you look at all the vast variety of life forms and so many that are codependent on other life forms and the environment to exist, that there's no statistical possibility that all the different life forms and the environment that allows them to exist could have ever happened by random chance.
That's a ridiculous argument because whatever environment we get, we're going to get things that are suited to that environment. So if we had a different environment on Earth, there would be different things. It's basically the puddle argument.
But wait a minute, this guy probably believes there's not life anywhere else in the universe. Do you believe that, Matt, that Earth is the one place in the entire universe where there's life?
Yes, so that's what I believe, that there's no other possibility, especially when you look at...
What's the point of the rest of the universe, then?
Visuals.
Yeah, basically, God created the light in transit from all the stars because if they truly were billions of years away from us, he would have had to make the light all at the same time in transit. Otherwise, we wouldn't see it today.
So,
Matt, the universe would just have to be older than how old you think it is.
The good news is, Matt, that I don't necessarily disagree. Like, I think that God created evolution and the mechanisms that go into play, so I don't necessarily disagree with your point. But I will say this: he
doesn't believe in evolution.
He does.
No,
he believes
doesn't.
that there's change. Either way,
I
can tell you this, Matt.
Created evolution.
I can tell you this, Matt.
Yeah.
People who are as sure as you are the kind of people that stage genocides. Like you've got a dangerous belief set.
I believe that humans should respect all life, especially that of other humans.
All right.
And that there's no legitimizing mass murder or murder of any kind unless it's not actually murder if you're defending your life from somebody trying to kill you. So
you never answered my question, though. Do you believe that your God just sort of placed everything around and it's always been the same ever since? You dodged the question.
Yeah, I believe he made everything in 6 days and then rested on the 7th. And everything we see today...
Are you a literalist? Are you somebody who believes every single...
that silly Noah story, too?
Well...
Why, yes, I do.
I do believe that there was a giant flood that drowned all of the people on the planet except for the 8 that were on the ark.
Wow.
And, hold on.
The animals...
600-year-old man, giant boat made of gopher wood. You gotta include that.
Yeah.
Sounds legit, Mark. Sure, that could happen.
Penguins waddle their butts from Antarctica on up to the Ark. Get on.
Did they? Maybe God time warped them onto the.
He gave them a little snow boat.
How did the penguins get on there, Matt?
There only had to be 2 and 7 of different kinds of animals.
That would leave you with some really horrible genetic faults.
Yeah, it would.
But
of course, the Christians also believe everybody came from Adam and Eve as well. So, I mean, same problem,
I'm also
right?
not sure what the overall arching point is. So if you were somehow able to disprove evolution, okay, then what? That doesn't mean therefore
then
your
wins.
interpretation of
He
the Bible
wins.
is right.
No, he doesn't.
That just means that evolution is wrong. So I'm not really sure why this is a relevant topic to you.
There's not saying that evolution is wrong isn't my point. I just want people to consider the possibility that, all the different forms of life in their vast amount of variety could not have all sprung into existence.
Thank you for the opinion. It's ridiculous. More coming up here in moments. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Gotham in the Empire State, this is Darrell W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of November 2nd through the 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.67 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,397. Antiwar.com reports with Afghan security forces suffering record casualties and their already tenuous control slipping all the time, things are looking dire in Afghanistan. But from the Taliban perspective, all these same stats add up to things looking pretty good. The Taliban is getting stronger all the time and now controls more of Afghanistan than at any time since the 2001 U.S. invasion. That control is extending in all regions of the country, with them contesting substantial portions of even vital provinces or controlling them outright. That's true even in the capital city of Kabul. According to the most recent Saigar estimate, 12% of Kabul is under direct Taliban control, with another 32% of the city considered at the very least contested. All of this adds up to a Taliban able to contest virtually any part of Afghanistan they choose, able to make a serious run at seizing almost any city in the country, at least temporarily, and can carry out so many simultaneous offensives that the Afghan military can't react to all of them.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Reuters reports the man accused of fatally shooting 11 worshippers in a Pittsburgh synagogue during Sabbath prayers pled not guilty on Thursday to federal hate crimes charges and other offenses as the city's Jewish community buried 3 more of its dead. Robert Bowers, who had been wounded in a gunfight with police and made his initial court appearance on Monday shackled to a wheelchair, walked into Thursday's proceedings upright and without the need of assistance, wearing a red jumpsuit and a bandage on his left arm. He spoke little other than to say he understood the charges against him and that some of them could lead to the death penalty. He then entered a plea of not guilty to all 44 counts against him. He also requested a jury trial. Bowers appeared sure of foot and exuded a demeanor of confidence, answering questions put to him by U.S. District Judge Robert Mitchell in a clear voice and signing papers with a steady hand. The indictment returned against him on Wednesday includes 11 counts of obstructing free exercise of religion resulting in death and 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder. A one-time truck driver who frequently posted anti-Semitic slurs and conspiracy theories online, Bowers is accused of bursting into the Tree of Life synagogue last Saturday with a semi-automatic rifle and 3 pistols and opening fire in the midst of Sabbath prayers as he shouted, "All Jews must die." In addition to the mostly elderly congregants who died, 2 were wounded along with 4 police officers before the suspect was shot by police and surrendered. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty. Bowers has also been charged in state court with 11 counts of criminal homicide and 13 counts of ethnic intimidation, though authorities have said prosecution of the federal case will take precedence.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Antiwar.com reports in their latest damning audit of the Afghan war, the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction found that the Central Command had been routinely violating the deployment requirements for advisors to Afghanistan. Under mandated deployment rules, anyone being sent to Afghanistan to serve as an advisor is meant to undergo advisor training first. Only about half of those surveyed received any training at all, and mostly not the right sorts of training. Saigar further found that the Pentagon does not have any metrics to gauge what progress, if any, is being achieved in the costly advisory programs. They not only haven't been tracking it, but they don't have the means to attempt to do so. Saigar warned that with no goal set and no way to measure progress, it's impossible to tell if anything was accomplished. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Do you sometimes feel that healthy eating can be a lot of work with very little reward? Well, no need to worry any longer. Here are the Onion's tips for healthy eating. First, identify your weaknesses, and then condition yourself to avoid problem foods by associating them with deceased relatives, unrequited loves, and traumatic events. Remember, Alcohol is a source of empty calories, so be sure to keep your drinking under control. Unless you're really stressed out, like if something happens at work or if your cat gets hit by a car. If you find yourself suddenly craving a fatty food, let yourself enjoy the best of both worlds. Tape a slice of ham to your tongue and slowly absorb the taste throughout the day without swallowing. Stay motivated by paying yourself $1 every day until you meet your weight loss goals. At the end of 10 years' time, spend that cash on a cosmetic operation of your choice. There, now you're ready to begin your new healthy lifestyle.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the second hour of the program. You really can call in about anything that you want. We were in the middle of talking about a Bitcoin oasis, a Bitcoin paradise in Nevada that's planned to be built at this point. We're going to get into more of the story from the New York Times coming up here in a moment. With you in the studio tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
And then a religious zealot just happened to call in, and he went off on why he thinks evolution is a cockamamie scheme and, you know, wasn't real or whatever. And I don't understand the perspective of these ultra-religious zealots and why it is that they hate science so much. You know, to me...
Well, because science stands in the face of what he was saying.
It conflicts with their view, so they have to get rid of it.
Well, it conflicts with their particular
and by the way, you
view.
should use the term New Earth creationist, I believe is what that guy would have been called.
What is that?
So, what would an old Earth be, right? It'd be millions of years old.
Oh.
A new Earth.
This is the 6,000-year-old Earth thing?
So,
Gotcha.
You could call me a creationist or you could call me an evolutionist, depending on what your preference is at any given moment, because I take this sort of middle-of-the-road opinion that although I believe in evolution, I think that there's some kind of creative force there as a guidance and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And it gives pretty wishy-washy, mamby-pamby opinion. It doesn't stake anything out. I believe it, but it's not. I'm not planting my petard and
I don't know
shaking my fist at the world.
Every position you hold doesn't have to be like the most fringe thing ever.
Well, I don't even know if it's wishy-washy. It's just not the common view of it must be one or the other. Well, why can't it be both?
That is a pretty common view of people who just go about their life not caring very much about evolution.
Yeah, I think it's the most common view, actually.
Which one?
Mine.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I would agree with that. In the States, at least.
Okay.
So,
well, then the people who don't hold that view are very loud about their extreme views.
That's the problem with views, is that you get these hardliners who just make a big ruckus, and that's what you got. You got this New Earth creationist here who says that the world. He didn't say this, but he's pretty much going to have to say this. Yeah. The world's about 6,000 years old.
That would have been a question we could have asked him had we held him over.
The internet's full of it. You don't need to go asking those questions. It exists.
But it's entertaining to listen to the person. We had a lot of good questions for him. In fact, the chat room threw one in. Baraka66 said, and it was right at the end of the segment, so I wasn't able to ask this. I didn't see it until it was too late. But we should have asked him who Adam's children were having sex with, because he believes the Bible word for word. He's one of those guys. In fact, you had mentioned the other night, Mark, that you didn't think there were that many of those people out there who are the biblical literalists. Well, there's one of them.
Yeah, they just live in this house.
I've heard people that claim that the Cain copulated with a monkey or an ape or with a pig.
Oh, I've heard some crazy stories about Cain.
The son of Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
So, he's
the one that was banished for killing his brother.
No, to be clear, none of these crazy stories are supported by the Bible. It's just things that people made up to justify whatever unrelated craziness they wanted to justify.
Right, because a sixth grader could come up with the question, well, what happened to Cain?
Because the Bible wasn't crazy enough. They had to add some more crazy on top of that. And I guess, what I'm saying is I just don't understand why they are so anti-science. I mean, from my perspective as a panentheist, somebody who believes that everything is God, ultimately science is just the process of understanding God, of, understanding the world that we live in, which if you believe in God and God is the creator, you believe God created that. So science is just a way of discovering and testing that.
But he's not trying to defend theism generally. He's trying to defend his specific version of Christianity, which is a literal interpretation of the Bible, which is not even supported historically. Some of that is clearly poetic, but that's beside the point.
Not to them.
So I understand why he's going to not believe in evolution because it conflicts with this other thing he believes in, but why he uses that as an argument against people who don't believe the other things he believes doesn't make any sense. Because you can if somebody goes and disproves evolution and gets a Nobel a Nobel Prize for disproving evolution, okay, then what? That does not therefore mean anything else.
It doesn't mean the Earth was created 6,000 years ago.
It also points out the thanklessness of this, these positions, right? Like, so the atheists would have you believe that they sit out there as this tireless, tiny little minority that is the most vilified group in the world, just speaking the truth to power and blah, 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 blah. When in fact, everybody's got their opinion, right? And their opinion is so marginal. Here we are, theists disagreeing on a topic as plain as evolution.
You and I are theists. She's not.
She is not a theist,
right?
But
I don't. Well, I'm
no,
not
she is.
Wait,
you
are, but
hold on. You are a theist or no?
No, I'm not.
No, okay, I didn't think so.
She doesn't take the hardest of lines, though. She can live with a theist without.
She's married to one of them.
Yes, without it, making her nuts.
Yeah. So, were you done with your point about the atheists? Okay.
Everybody's got their own opinion. You're not special. Get out of here.
Well, no, you are special. You can call in and share your opinion with us on the radio. This is what talk radio is all about.
Just make a good argument. Like, disagree with me all day long. Just make a good argument. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you just say, like, evolution is silly, well, that's not really supporting your position.
If we're going to continue to talk about the guy, we should have just kept him, okay? That's all I'm saying.
No, he was done. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I don't think there was really much else we were going to get out of him. So we continue here, Mark. You have a story about these Bitcoin billionaire, presumably.
Well, you just like the term because it's alliterative. There's no evidence that he's a billionaire.
Well, if you've got
$300
million, you can just drop on a large plot of land and some sort of structure of an initial corporation with some employees to get a ball rolling on a speculative investment scheme. You've probably got more than $1 billion. The odds that this man had just $300 million sitting around, or that he only spent $300 of his $500 million on this scheme, I mean, that's a crazily dangerous investment, right? Like, if you're going to make an investment of $300 million, you ought to have, I don't know, $3 billion, right? You ought to have a bunch more than that.
It seemed to also be a ideological investment too. So I can see somebody with $600 million dropping half of it on, Bitcoin Town, because it's not strictly an investment.
I mean, I'm not a professional investor or anything like that. I don't consider myself an investor at all. But my God, that would seem insane to spend.
Okay,
half
but like,
of your
what's
money.
the worst thing that could happen? Okay, so I have $600 million. I lose $300 million. I still got $300 million. I don't have to work a day in my life, and I can live however I want.
True.
Right.
Whatever.
Good point.
If you had $600 million and you lost $580 million of it, how's life?
It's not bad.
It's darn good. It's really, really good.
Anything that can be solved with money is solved. Like, that's all you can get out of money.
Right. I mean, no Lear jets.
Right.
Most of the time. No giant yachts to steam about the Mediterranean most of the time.
Yeah. I'm just saying he probably has $1 billion at least. Don't you think? Is it safe to say that?
I don't.
He's got a lot of money.
I think it from the standpoint of the press, where you can just, what passes for journalism out there, sure, just go ahead, Ian. It's fine.
I don't claim to be a journalist. I'm a talk show host. I have opinions, and my opinion is this guy's got more than $1 billion. Anyway, he threw $300 million at this so far, and the New York Times thought it was worth writing about. So,
one of the things is I'd like to backtrack a little bit.
His name is Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. Excellent. One thing I'd like to backtrack is they've given some numbers here, but every news story I've ever read is wrong.
Numbers wrong. Gets all kinds of things wrong.
Yeah,
sure.
And especially wrong on numbers.
All right.
So I don't know
I hope they're wrong. $170 million for 6,700 acres or whatever. We did the math. That's $25,000 an acre.
I've critiqued, as somebody who's bought more than my fair share of real estate. I've probably bought and sold more real estate than the majority of people who are listening to this show. So I would say that $25,000 for undeveloped acreage on arid land sounds like a lot. I would like to hear more about why it was worth that. Now, but if those are in fact the numbers, but again,
if they are,
it's just a news story.
All right, but there's more to this story about what this guy's vision is for this land, some sort of a Bitcoin zone, basically a Bitcoin place, city. We're coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink, like we have. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. SaveATPurse.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As Gene, the Christian anarchist in our Discord chat says, the dog is the best thing they ever put on that cam.
It's the truth. She's such a good girl, too. Such a pretty girl.
We do have Jazzy Girl now as part of our cam setup in the studio. She's actually got 2 cameras pointed at her from different angles. So people who would like to see what Jazzy looks like up close, you get that now on our website, or on our web feed, cam feed over at twitch.lrn.fm. You go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can also see her on the YouTube channel, but that's not in HD. So if you want the maximum, Jazzy quality, you have to watch.
She's awake right now.
That's right.
Rush.
Yep.
cam.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, that'll get you there too. But twitch.lrn.fm will get you straight to our Twitch channel, and then you can follow there, because I've actually been doing Jazzy.
She's dozing off. Hurry.
I've actually been doing Jazzy Cam streams of just LRN audio too. Mm-hmm. So just when Free Talk Live's not on,
yes,
and Jazzy's in her bed,
she's in her bed. Yeah, people
then it's just 100% Jazzy
with the LRN stream underneath.
Correct.
That's great.
So
look, it's getting a lot of views. I've wanted things that would get views. Well,
our cams have never gotten a lot of views, except for the one time when we were on a different platform called Ustream, and they put us on their front page once, and we got a lot of views.
They did that more than once.
Oh, did they? Oh, well, it didn't last, and the views didn't stay. So. But, you know, if we're there, and we've got a quality dog that you can look at. In fact, she's a great example of evolution. We were talking about evolution a moment ago, because you guys were, we were mentioning how humans put their hands into the evolution of animals and created all these different breeds. Yeah. And Jazzy is not one of those. She is what's called a Carolina dog. She is a dingo, basically, an American, as they call it, American dingo. And so she's basically what nature
supposedly
created.
A natural breed, yeah.
So you can see that.
Those are the better ones, though. People didn't really understand what they were doing when they started doing that.
Right, because there was all kinds of, inbreeding issues, apparently.
That's how you get, you select for certain traits, yeah.
And that has resulted in those other dogs being very weak in certain ways as well.
You can look for older breeds, and you'll be more likely to find, a
better dog?
Stability.
Okay.
That's not necessarily true in Great Danes, who have some health issues and are one of the oldest breeds.
So you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can also join us online over at freetalklive.com.
One thing they can't select for in dogs is hearts of gold, right? So that can happen in any kind of mutt. It can happen in any kind of, purebred dog, or anything in between. Is an animal that really fits for you and your lifestyle, and is just a good animal. And everybody's got their own criteria. That is something that it's the standard by which you judge every other dog of the rest of your life by.
I'm sorry, you put a good animal in a bad home, you're going to have probably a bad animal after some time, right? Because animals will adjust to their owner to some extent.
Sure.
You want to have a bad dog? Starve it and beat it. I don't care how good it was when it started.
I'm saying that for people who want to have a pet, that they have different criteria, and that therefore different animals are right for them.
All right, there's more on the way here. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Let's start with Sarah in New Mexico. We'll talk more about the Bitcoin town or city that is ostensibly going to be built in Nevada by a very wealthy person. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Our bus drivers here, they're going to finally get a raise. So what I was told is once they get their CDL license, they wind up going to other jobs that pay more.
They drive buses without a commercial driver's license?
Well, it takes a CDL license to drive a buses,
Yeah.
It's not like a regular license.
Right.
And everybody, after they get trained, everybody wants them, and then they have no bus drivers, so they have to be competitive.
Yeah, that's how wages work.
But, something, I want them to get a raise because, they get hit with rocks. They get soda pop cans thrown at them and beer cans.
Well, where are they driving buses? Are they driving buses in
apparently.
Palestine? People are just throwing rocks and soda cans at them?
When's the last time you were on a city bus?
Yeah, have you ever rode a city bus in Albuquerque?
No, but that sounds really
Did you ever
insane.
ride the city bus in New Orleans or in Louisiana where you lived?
I don't think so.
I never saw behavior like that when I was on the city bus in Sarasota, Florida, where I grew up. But that's not to say those things don't happen. You're saying those things, Sarah, I presume, because you've observed that behavior, right? Like you've actually seen people throwing things at a bus driver?
Well, no, I have never seen one, but I get.
Well, where did you get that idea then? Is it in a movie, or did somebody tell you they saw that?
No, it's on the news. They get stabbed. I don't know. They what they do is they want to ride the bus for free. A lot of the homeless people, they want to stay on the bus and stay warm when they get to the end of the line, and they get very. A lot of them are alcoholics. They get very confrontational. And,
okay, so all of that is going to cause people to quit this job. Like the pay
right.
might be appropriate for just driving a bus, but maybe it's not appropriate for being stabbed and having to kick off homeless people every single night. Like that's going to cause retention problems in and of itself. Like I don't care how well you're paying them.
Well, the thing is, the increase in pay, I mean, it does help. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it will help with the retention, but if you're having bus drivers get stabbed on a regular basis, that is going to cause retention problems. I don't care if you're paying them $1 million a year.
It sounds like you need psych nurses with CDLs.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go to John. He's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, buy a car.
Listening online. John, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. Go ahead.
I was just calling in because I was curious as to whether you had finished with the first story or not about the blockchain millionaire who bought up a bunch of property in Nevada. And, I mean, more broadly, I was just wondering, with projects like that going on, like what area of, like, computer studies or whatever should somebody go into if they really wanted to start working with the blockchain and developing different things?
I think you could look for some kind of blockchain degree, but at this point they would be very, very new.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the specifics, but I would start working for a blockchain company and then work my way backwards at that point.
Well, right, yeah, because I was really just wondering, like, I don't know, like what kind of computer or computing language or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If somebody really wanted to start developing products or using this, you know what I mean? Using the service.
You know what? I think that this is one of the nights on the show where none of the hosts are really well versed in programming. I mean, I'm probably the closest of all the three hosts in the studio.
Not terribly.
I took programming class in high school.
You have written your own programs. They're just pretty simple.
Not really since high school. I mean,
you wrote the program that caused the switcher program for the cameras.
Yeah, I guess you could call that a program.
It's a program.
It's a macro. I mean, it's the most basic level of programming. Yes, I could have gone into programming, but I decided it was not as much fun as radio, so I did radio. Here's what I'd recommend.
You really want to work for a living.
Here's what I'd recommend. You go to the Discord chat over at discord.lrn.fm. There's a room about cryptocurrency, and I'd ask that question there and see what people in there have to say about it. John, thanks for the call tonight. We'll get back into that story coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
What if there was a social media network only for the conservative?
What if there was a social media network not only for the conservative right general public, but also a platform for conservative politicians and advertisers?
And what if this social media network was the only free speech network in existence?
There is. It's rightsocial.net.
Rightsocial.net, a response to President Donald Trump's direct presidential order.
Rightsocial.net, where you have the right to freely speak your mind.
Rightsocial.net, the right place to be.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves here, bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Your property and your family are precious. You ought to consider protecting them with the Blink home security system. They are motion-activated HD cameras that are wireless. They set up fast because they're wireless. All you got to do is unbox them, put the batteries in, which last up to 2 years, by the way, and then pop them up wherever you want them around your home. It's easy. In fact, with blinkprotect.com/FTL, you can get your Blink camera system starting at less than $100. And Blink works with Alexa. That's because Amazon bought the Blink company. They like the product so much. There's no contracts, no subscriptions. This thing is amazingly priced for the quality, and it is HD quality. Live feed option in case you want to monitor it live, which you can do, or you can just wait until it sends you clips. You know, when something goes on in front of the camera.
That's what I do with mine.
Right, during the time frame you specify. So you set it up how you want it. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL to save. As we continue here, we will take your calls and thoughts about anything. But Mark, you had started a story about a very rich guy who's dropped hundreds of millions of dollars already on a plot of land and some kind of corporate structure. I don't think they've started building anything on the land yet.
There's some buildings.
There are. Oh, okay.
But I mean, I don't. Yeah, there's some buildings.
Interesting. All right.
I can see a building in the background in one of these pictures. It's
and this is a New York Times story about a Bitcoin guy who wants to create some kind of a Bitcoin space, a Bitcoin city. Tell me more about this vision. What else about it do we need to know?
Mr. Burns has managed to win over local officials who are eager for economic development. Nevada's governor, Brian Sandoval, read a proclamation that named the blockchain's property Innovation Park at an event last month where Mr. Burns sat on a panel with the governor and Elon Musk, the chief executive of Tesla.
All right, so he's got connections.
Tesla's Gigafactory in Nevada, which had been described as the largest building in the world, is surrounded by blockchain's land. Companies like Google, Apple, and Switch also have properties in the industrial park that is surrounded by Mr. Burns' holdings. So I guess
he bought land around mega corporate property and surrounded them?
I guess to some extent he's going to...
He's homesteading a ring around their property.
I guess he's going to... yeah, I mean, maybe that is what drove up some of the value of the land. I don't know.
Could be.
This week, he announced a memorandum of understanding with one of the state's main power companies, NV Energy, to team up on projects that will run energy transactions through a blockchain. The Nevada county where this is all located, Story County, has only about 4,000 residents and was best known until recently for its history of silver mining and its modern brothels, including one owned by a county commissioner.
Well, I did say earlier, it better be sitting for $170 million for 6,000 some acres. It better be sitting on a gold mine. Apparently, they did silver mining in that county, so maybe there's some extra benefit to having
this land. It's not called the Silver
land.
State for nothing.
Yeah.
The same county commissioner, Lance Gilman, bought the land surrounding the brothel, turned it into an industrial park where Tesla and Google are now located. Blockchain has already received preliminary county support for a new town along the Truckee River with thousands of homes. Truckee is sort of very close to the California border. I think Truckee is in California. Truckee River with thousands of homes, a school, and a drone delivery system, and it's working closely with the county on a broader master plan. This is beginning to make more sense, isn't it, Ian?
It's sounding a little bit more sensible, yeah.
But for now, blockchains is empty land and repurposed office building. Mr. Burns said the company won't begin construction on the broader property until late 2019 at the earliest. After putting together the, and by the way, it's going to be later than that.
Yeah,
it always is with these things. You know, just the way it is. After putting together the master plan and getting it approved by the county, the office manager, 4,000 people, and these people want you to put together a master plan for them.
Of course they do. They want you to believe they know best.
These rednecks in the middle of Sandy County or whatever it is here are going to tell you whether or not this makes sense. The office manager for Mr. Burns' old law office in Los Angeles, Joanna Rodriguez, moved with her 4 children and husband to Nevada. He has these crazy ideas, but I know that every time he sets his mind to something,
he does it.
He will get there, says Mrs. Rodriguez, 29, who has worked with Mr. Burns for 8 years and is now the manager of the blockchain's office in Nevada. That's why I decided to move.
Wow.
Mr. Burns spent most of his
She's a believer.
Well, she's a believer in him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And when you've seen enough, you know.
Yep.
Mr. Burns spent most of his professional life on class action lawsuits, many of them against financial companies. He learned about Bitcoin in 2012, but was won over by another cryptocurrency, Ethereum, which makes it possible to store more than just transaction data on the blockchain. Mr. Burns bought Ether, the digital token associated with Ethereum, on a big sale in 2015, thanks to an astronomical increase in the price of Ether and some well-timed selling last year before it crashed. He became wealthy enough to fund his dream project.
Unbelievable. Good for him.
It's a good story. Ethereum is what he makes.
Ethereum billionaire.
Yeah, his community more than just a giant real estate project. To understand why requires more than a bit of imagination and faith. Every resident and employee will have what amounts to an Ethereum address, which they will use to vote on local measures and store their personal data. Mr. Byrne believes Ethereum will give people a way to control their identity and online data without any governments or companies involved. That is a widely shared view on the blockchain community, but there are significant questions about whether any of it can work in the real world. Most blockchain companies have failed to gain
Boy, what's
any
this
traction.
internet thing all about? Oh, it's just a fad. It'll never work.
Yeah, how many websites are still here that were here in 1998 when I got on the internet?
I don't know.
Yahoo. Google probably existed, but I hadn't heard of it.
No, I think they started in like 99 or 2000 or something like that.
AOL, there's probably
a bunch of websites that are still around. Just whether they're relevant or not is another question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Not much. Things change, and winners and losers, the trophy changes hands.
But my point in saying that was there were people in the 1990s whose attitude towards the internet is the same as this attitude is towards blockchain, that they're talking, well, I don't know this is going to do anything if we can figure this out or whatever.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I question his whole thing here is that what he's proposing to let people vote on the blockchain. Well, that's suggesting that our election system is in some way or another so messed up that we're, picking winners and losers at such a terrible rate poorly. Does that make sense? Like,
I don't know what you're saying.
Let me restate myself. That the blockchain is the truth, right?
The blockchain being a public ledger in this case.
I think that the elections in the United States are generally close enough to the truth that we don't really need blockchain technology to fix that particular thing.
Well, there's plenty of fraud in elections.
The problem is that idiots get votes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. He just wants to make sure the idiots' votes are counted correctly. If that's, or maybe he wants more direct democracy.
It's going to be a private town, so he can have whatever kind of setup he wants to, right?
If you dump enough money,
if he has democracy, it's going to fail.
If you dump enough money into it, everything works. Socialism worked. Look at Detroit in the 1960s. It worked because there was plenty of money.
It ain't working now.
No, that's because the money moved. The money, the cheese.
That's what happens with socialism.
Moved. Yes, well,
the people who are producers want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, well, if you give everybody a vote, they're going to start voting for their own benefits. I don't know what the specifics are of this program.
Yeah, but you don't know what they're going to be voting on. So who knows what they will allow people to vote for and what they won't allow them to vote for. We don't know what the corporate structure or whatever the ruling structure is going to be.
He's giving away 90%, he says.
That's what he says.
I'm curious.
It's a grand experiment. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But the statement about, well, we don't know if blockchain's going to be able to. Well, can you read the exact quote where you just left us off on this critical statement about blockchain?
There are significant questions about whether any of it can work in the real world. Most blockchain companies have failed to gain any traction. Ethereum and Bitcoin networks have struggled to handle even moderate amounts of traffic.
Okay. So
those are things that could have easily been said about the internet in 1993, 1997, even now.
That's right.
People will say that about internet in rural areas in the United States. It struggles to handle even moderate amounts of traffic.
Hold that thought. We're going to continue here because I think that they are figuring this stuff out, and a lot of these companies have been tremendously successful, built from zero, a lot of these blockchain-related companies. There's more coming up here, though. You can share your thoughts with us. It's Free Talk Live. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Dragons swallow evolution in one gulp. GodSaidManSaid.com. The Sons of God and Science admits a ghost species. The amazing power of going to church. GodSaidManSaid.com. Dinosaurs and man contemporaneously? You possess the world's greatest treasure. GodSaidManSaid.com. Life after death experiences, sin bones, St. Peter's fish, hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidManSaid.com.
If you're looking for work, or even if you're not, here's an innocent mistake you really want to avoid. Never return calls before listening to your voicemail. Your wireless phone sends calls you didn't answer into voicemail, and it shows you phone numbers for calls you missed. Important, don't call back callers you missed until you have first listened to your messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bothered to leave messages by asking them to repeat a message they just left as your voicemail greeting instructed them to. If you're a job applicant, this alone could be a deal killer. And even if you're not, there are few things you can convey to someone that are as fundamentally maddening as, "I didn't hear you." With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and bring up anything you want. Talking about a Bitcoin city that is in the planning stages right now, apparently in western Nevada. We will tell you more about that coming up here. Your calls and thoughts also welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
It's again that number, 855-450-3733. And Free Talk Live brought to you by the AMP program. Listeners of ours like Juggalo Joe, who is a Free Talk Live silver amplifier. And he's not the only Juggalo amplifier. There's another one named Ken. But
Juggalo Ken?
You know what? I appreciate anybody, no matter what type of music you listen to, because the Juggalos are the fans of the Insane Clown Posse, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, I can't speak intelligently on that.
There's not much intelligence to say about the Insane Clown Posse.
All right.
But that is what it is. So you're welcome to
support. If I was somehow defined by the music that I listened to in high school,
you'd be a punk.
It'd be a pretty narrow definition.
You used to have a mohawk.
Yeah, that's an accurate
statement. Have you thought about bringing that back?
No.
I saw a guy with one last week.
An old guy?
No. Maybe he was like mid to late 20s or something like that. He was rocking it too. Like he owned that thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did.
It was nice to see. It was refreshing to see a mohawk in real life in the year 2018.
It's not going to be refreshing to see it on somebody with gray hair who's a little paunchy.
Well, you could bleach it and then color it.
Oh, that's what I need to do.
Yeah,
I need a hobby.
Like a bright red mohawk.
As though I don't have enough things to do with the fire department and the radio program and the jiu-jitsu. I need to dye my hair too and keep up those roots.
Anyway, Juggalo Joe, thanks for being a Free Talk Live amplifier. He's a silver amplifier, which means he's given $5 a month to the show that we take and we use to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live to get on more radio stations around the country. And it's a sad week in libertarian talk radio, as I mentioned last night. The Freedom Fiends show is ending. As far as a radio show, it being a radio show is no longer. And so it's one of those weeks where we actually have to call the radio stations of the Freedom Fiends to try to crib their stations. Normally that's something we're happy about, like when Michael Savage goes off the air or something. Someday he will. We're going to be calling those stations. We're going to be gleeful about calling those stations, try to bring them on board. But it's not fun doing it for the Freedom Fiends, which was a great libertarian show that is no longer in syndication and no longer on the radio. But that's one of the things we do is we call radio stations, we talk to the program directors. Some of the AMP money goes to help market the show, so we advertise in Talkers Magazine, which isn't an actual print publication anymore, but it once was. We advertise in their emails that they send out on a weekly basis, and do other things with the money, which you can learn about over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. So like a new station needs a satellite receiver, we'll just send it to them. Whatever it takes to get stations on board and get them airing Free Talk Live, we're going to do it.
Yeah, if they need blinky boxes, we got to give it to them.
And the AMP program makes that possible. So once again, go to amp.freetalklive.com like Juggalo Joe, and you can sign up there and get some of the cool perks that you get as a Free Talk Live amplifier. So, Mark, you were sharing with us this story about the very wealthy crypto guy who is putting hundreds of millions of dollars behind a vision of essentially a cryptocurrency blockchain-based city.
Right, Mr. Burns. He believes that one of the big problems has been security. People have been terrible at holding the private keys that are necessary to get access to a Bitcoin or Ethereum wallet.
Yes, that's absolutely true. It's one of the biggest problems when, I've got a lot of experience setting people up with cryptocurrency wallets. I always reiterate, you have to back up your wallet.
Have to.
If you're getting a cryptocurrency wallet for the first time, I don't care if you're just going to put $10 worth of crypto in it. Back it up, because
it's so easy to do now. All you have to do is write down 12 or 24 words.
And most of the programs will demand you do it in advance of letting you into their program. If it's a good program, it sort of like forces you into the process of backing it up. But there's always ways around it. And one of the ways that people have gotten around it is by doing a screenshot. And I'm like, no. I run into this all the time. I was just at a brewery here in Keene that takes cryptocurrency, and the guy there who's behind the bar was like, "Oh yeah, I asked him, can I tip you with cryptocurrency?" He says, "Oh yeah, I got a wallet I set up last time one of you guys were here," and he never did anything with it. He had just kind of set it up. He never did anything with a crypto tip that was left for him, so it was an empty wallet. And I asked him, I said, "Well, did you go through the backup process? Did you write the words down?" He was like, "Oh, I screenshotted that." I'm like, no, that's not secure.
Did he still have the screenshot?
It doesn't matter. You can bring up the words anytime.
I know it's not secure, but
the reason why
he could have lost it, and then he has nothing.
Well, no, you can bring up the words anytime once you get into the program.
If you lose the phone that has the wallet on it, chances are good you're losing the phone that has the screenshot on
That's
it.
my point. That's why it's terrible security.
Yes.
But my point is, Mark, if he hadn't written them down or only had a screenshot or whatever, you can still go and pull up the words after the fact. You don't just see the words when you're first setting up the program. You just go in the settings and pull them up. And so anyway, I'm like, look, dude, I know you might only have $20 worth of crypto or whatever, and that may not be a big deal. But if you get $100 or $200 worth of crypto, it's going to hurt,
and it increases dramatically.
It's going to hurt if you lose it. And so take the time to write down these words. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so he wants to address that with a custom-built system where people's private keys are stored on multiple digital devices, kept in vaults so that no one device can gain access to the keys. He's already purchased vaults that are burrowed into mountains in Sweden and Switzerland, and he plans to build additional vaults.
How much does that cost?
The mountains of Nevada.
How much does that cost?
I don't know.
This guy just paid $170 million for 6,000 some acres of land in Nevada, of arid land, and now he's saying he's got vaults built into the sides of mountains? That can't be cheap either.
It doesn't sound cheap.
No.
The other thing holding back Ethereum, Mr. Burns believes, has been a lack of real-world laboratories. His Nevada land, he hopes, will change that.
We already have that. It's called Keene and Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where you actually have the ability to spend cryptocurrency in real life. So
yes,
you could just move to New Hampshire.
If he gets a real city going, which this is imaginary at this point, but if he gets the city going, then it'll be a city.
Oh, yeah. No. I mean, this is going to be interesting to watch this develop. Yeah. I wish him the best. I hope it does.
I abs too.
We ought to approach him for advertising. Go do a live remote out there or something.
Already on it, buddy. This will either be the biggest thing ever or the most spectacular crash and burn in the history of mankind, Mr. Burns said.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's admitting.
That is a man who has a clear grasp on what he is doing.
He knows this could fail.
Any project could.
Right.
I don't know which one. I believe it's the former, but either way, it's going to be one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
And that's, a guy who's doing with his hundreds of millions of dollars what he wants to do with his hundreds of millions
Good
of
for
dollars.
him. What doesn't do you any good just dying with it?
No, it doesn't. And that's the point I was trying to make. If he had, you're speculating on his net worth. I don't know what it is. If he had $600 million and he spent $580 million of it on this project, and this project crashed and burned and was basically nothing, well, okay. But no problem. He's still got $20 million on which he can retire, and he'll be fine.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is leave it to your kids, and they go
Those
ahead
ungrateful
and
brats.
turn into little brats.
Okay.
That's the story.
Oh, that was it?
That's New York Times reports.
Okay, great.
Boop, 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 boop.
Toll-free number tonight if you want to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's talk to Greg. He's in New York. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, you're on the air.
So I just want to talk about the election coming up tomorrow. It's Tuesday.
We're having an election?
Gonna go. I don't know.
Dear God, who's running?
Probably people to the polls.
Yeah. Liars and thieves is the answer to the question.
Scum of the earth. Vote for Ian Freeman, State Senate, New Hampshire.
So, it's funny. I wanted to give my opinions about it, which I don't often do.
Okay.
Left versus right. But I've kind of checked out of the political process years ago. I never voted. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm calling it a libertarian.
It doesn't matter.
It's a mathematically, statistically insignificant thing is what it is.
Exactly. I think that if you want to help your community, you can do it through enterprise, private enterprise, or helping. It doesn't have to be for
projects, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think you could do a lot more, and I have been doing a lot more since I've been building, the social networks, and we have 5 million people around the world using our stuff. So my views are, I believe a man like Bill Gates or let's say Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg changes the world a lot more than a Bill Clinton or in a positive direction, I should say, than a Bill Clinton or
right, because Bill Clinton and George Bush can drop bombs and change people's world in a really negative way.
Exactly. Whereas if you make an iPhone, people are going to find their own reasons to use it,
Right, and they can use those, and they can use those to be creative, although many people just spend their time on it. We'll continue here, Greg. Hang on. We'll bring you back here in moments. Greg in New York on the line. You can call in, dial in, bring up whatever you want. Got a whole hour to go. Plenty of time for you to share your thoughts with us, whether it's the election or whatever happens to be on your mind. You can take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Our number, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, or call in on our Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 44055. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 44055. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 44055.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Gotham in the Empire State, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of November 2nd through the 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.67 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,397. Antiwar.com reports with Afghan security forces suffering record casualties and their already tenuous control slipping all the time, things are looking dire in Afghanistan. But from the Taliban perspective, all these same stats add up to things looking pretty good. The Taliban is getting stronger all the time and now controls more of Afghanistan than at any time since the 2001 U.S. invasion. That control is extending in all regions of the country, with them contesting substantial portions of even vital provinces or controlling them outright. That's true even in the capital city of Kabul. According to the most recent Zygar estimate, 12% of Kabul is under direct Taliban control, with another 32% of the city considered at the very least contested. All of this adds up to a Taliban able to contest virtually any part of Afghanistan they choose, able to make a serious run at seizing almost any city in the country, at least temporarily, and can carry out so many simultaneous offensives that the Afghan military can't react to all of them.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Reuters reports the man accused of fatally shooting 11 worshipers in a Pittsburgh synagogue during Sabbath prayers pled not guilty on Thursday to federal hate crimes charges and other offenses as the city's Jewish community buried 3 more of its dead. Robert Bowers, who had been wounded in a gunfight with police and made his initial court appearance on Monday shackled to a wheelchair, walked into Thursday's proceedings upright and without the need of assistance, wearing a red jumpsuit and a bandage on his left arm. He spoke little other than to say he understood the charges against him and that some of them could lead to the death penalty. He then entered a plea of not guilty to all 44 counts against him. He also requested a jury trial. Bowers appeared sure of foot and exuded a demeanor of confidence, answering questions put to him by U.S. District Judge Robert Mitchell in a clear voice and signing papers with a steady hand. The indictment returned against him on Wednesday includes 11 counts of obstructing free exercise of religion resulting in death and 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder. A one-time truck driver who frequently posted anti-Semitic slurs and conspiracy theories online, Bowers is accused of bursting into the Tree of Life synagogue last Saturday with a semi-automatic rifle and 3 pistols and opening fire in the midst of Sabbath prayers as he shouted, "All Jews must die." In addition to the mostly elderly congregants who died, 2 were wounded along with 4 police officers before the suspect was shot by police and surrendered. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty. Bowers has also been charged in state court with 11 counts of criminal homicide and 13 counts of ethnic intimidation, though authorities have said prosecution of the federal case will take precedence.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Antiwar.com reports in their latest damning audit of the Afghan war, the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction found that the Central Command had been routinely violating the deployment requirements for advisors to Afghanistan. Under mandated deployment rules, anyone being sent to Afghanistan to serve as an advisor is meant to undergo advisor training first. Only about half of those surveyed received any training at all, and mostly not the right sorts of training. Saigar further found that the Pentagon does not have any metrics to gauge what progress, if any, is being achieved in the costly advisory programs. They not only haven't been tracking it, but they don't have the means to attempt to do so. Saigar warned that with no goal set and no way to measure progress, it's impossible to tell if anything was accomplished. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The dangerous winter storm Rocky is expected to pummel the Midwest throughout the day, with meteorologists predicting the blizzard will hit Kevin Hodges of Joliet, Illinois the hardest, given the way his year's been going.
Yeah, we're stocking up on everything. I think school's going to be canceled. We're just glad we're not Kevin right now.
Joining us now is Jordan Blake in Chicago. Hello, Jordan. Just how crippling will this storm be for Kevin?
Well, we've already seen a lot of damage. Motorists in Kansas trapped in their cars on the freeway. That's nothing compared to the emotional damage Hodges can expect. Having to deal with a sick cat, frustrating new hours at work, and a confusing breakup all in the past 6 months.
You know, we're getting reports that he recently loaned $600 to a friend who has no intention of paying him back and slammed his finger in a car door last month. Does the National Weather Service have any advice for Kevin today?
Not much he can do. The sky is really vulnerable right now. Authorities are recommending that he just stay indoors and think about his mistakes.
That sounds like good advice. You know, he looks like a real sad piece of shit. Stay warm out there, Jordan.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. You can get into one of those rooms. There's 4 of them. Pick whichever one you want. We'll see you in there, and then we will join you, and you'll be on the air with us shortly thereafter and talk about whatever you want in high quality and sound almost like you're sitting here with us. I'm Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
As we go back to your phone calls and thoughts, Greg is with us in New York. Greg, you wanted to comment on the upcoming elections, which are imminent. We are on election eve here in the United States.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on something that I think most of us will agree on. The Republicans were criticizing the Obama administration and, I guess, Congress for increasing the debt. I mean, this was like a huge criticism of Obama.
Yep.
That he doubled the debt.
Yep.
Didn't Bush more than double it too?
They both about doubled the debt.
Yeah.
I posted this on our Facebook page that the Trump debt and showed it basically from the Clinton administration on up. Mm-hmm. A really nice graphic of the debt as it had been written, and some a mind-numbed lame-o goes on there. And what about Obama? And I'm like, look at the graphic. It shows his
the
debt,
dates, the dates
right?
on the graphic.
Like if Trump wanted to lower the debt, Rand Paul has made a very clear system how to do it. You cut by 1% every year for 5 years or something, and I don't know what the specifics
1%.
are. It's called the One Penny Plan. Look it up. It's on Google, and it makes it relatively clear. Not a percent in increased spending, but a percent off of whatever they're spending right now. As far as I'm concerned, the government's too big and inefficient that 1% isn't something that any one program would particularly miss.
Yeah, there's no chance that'll happen, though, with Donald Trump.
Nope. There's no chance that'll happen with any chief executive that's going to come in our lifetimes, Craig.
I think Ron Paul could have done it, but I just wanted to sort of make an overall point. The Republicans made this a huge campaign issue about the debt. But the debt is simply the sum of the deficits. I mean, it's pretty much the sum of the deficits in every year. When there is an economy and the private sector is hurting, like after 2008, I think there's a very good case to be made that the deficits would be high and the debt would increase. I mean, that happens even if the president does nothing, because the automatic stabilizers kick in, the progressive taxation and so forth happens to increase the debt. And that's fine. But when the economy is roaring, now is the time to not just, and you might not like this other part, not just decrease the spending, but also increase the taxes. And the reason to increase the taxes is because we have to pay down the debt. And if we don't pay down the debt when the economy is booming, then when are we going to do it? We're going to have to print more money.
First of all, if you raise the taxes, then the economy is going to stop booming. And there's no...
Well, that's not necessarily...
Well, yeah, it is. Because if I'm making...
FDR had tax.
If I'm making 50% of... If I get to keep 50% of what I make, I'm going to work more than if I get to keep 40% of what I make.
Well, that's the theory.
FDR kept us in the Depression for more than 10 years. Just to be, if you're using FDR,
I would work regardless of I just like what I do.
I don't necessarily believe that, but it's not true of most people.
Keynesian economics says what Greg is saying is so, and there's some evidence for what he's saying being true. I think if you're going to raise taxes and if you're going to pay off a debt, you should be doing that during the boom in the boom bust cycle. However, Rand Paul does have a system for paying things off much more quickly. I think that's worth a look here. I've just pulled it up so we can take a look. But nonetheless, Greg, to pay off the debt, we have to recognize that it's legitimate, right?
I don't.
And I don't. I say that this is 2 centuries of war that has been laid upon me. And I'm a 47-year-old man today, but at one point I was a crying baby, right? And that was in 1972, because I was born in 71, right? In 1972, I'm a crying baby. And then President Nixon says, well, this man, he owes us $25,000 because that's our debt. And because the debt has been moved forward from the Jackson administration forward. So Civil War, Spanish-American War, Mexican-American War, World War I.
I agree with you.
World
and I'm
War
against
II.
all these wars.
Yeah, that's all the
a
debt.
lot of these wars.
Then there's the Social Security, which you know isn't going to pay anything for me.
So wait, what you're saying, Mark, is basically screw the debt, right? Like, why bother paying it off? What's the benefit of paying it off?
That is very problematic. A lot of people can die. So Henry David Thoreau in Civil Disobedience sort of said, I don't want to pay the taxes and fund, I think it was the Spanish-American War.
Yep.
And then he got thrown in jail, and then his parents bailed him out or something like that.
I think it's Spanish.
And paid the tax.
All right.
But I just want to say that, look, the debt is there. It's a reality. And
it's a fiction.
Support the wars? Of course not.
It's a fiction. It's all based on fictitious money anyway.
So what negative effects are there going to be if the U.S. is just like, screw it, I'm not paying you?
That's what I'm asking.
I can say what's going to happen. I mean, this is pretty much what's going to happen. There's nothing really that's going to change it. So what's going to happen is that the U.S. will print its money, print its way out of the debt.
Wait, no, I'm not saying if they pay it through other means. I'm saying if they don't pay it.
Well, I'm explaining what... Oh,
no, you're explaining another method of paying it.
So if the U.S. defaults on its debt, what happens is after the Bretton Woods system, the U.S. treasuries are a huge component of the world's bank reserves. So if they suddenly become devalued, maybe junk bond status, essentially the entire world's economy is now not backed by anything. So
accurate.
I guess people
it's not backed by anything now.
It's not backed by anything now.
And plus, another thing
if the banking system fails, you're just giving me more incentives to not pay the debt.
Ultimately, the politicians know there's no penalty for not paying the debt. That's why they don't bother, right? They just keep on printing, keep on adding to the debt.
That's only true for the U.S.
There's no punishment for them.
Okay, but we're talking about U.S. senators, so...
Yeah, I mean,
so if there's some small country somewhere that owes the U.S. or Russia or China money, maybe they have some incentive to pay it. I don't see what incentive the U.S. has.
Normally, when you have a personal debt, you put some sort of collateral up, right? Like somebody can take your car or they can take your whatever it is that you have, your house, something that's valuable, and then you lose that. In order to pay off the debt, you put up some sort of collateral. There's no collateral backing this debt, is there?
Well, I think Donald Trump already learned through his bankruptcies that when you have a small debt, it's your problem. When you have a big debt, it's the bank's problem. I guess if you have the world's debt, then no one will.
It's the world's problem.
No one will sanction the U.S. No one will sanction the U.S. over Iraq.
So let it go.
Then there's no.
Okay, wait a second. Much more important statement. Greg, what happens when they pay off the debt? There's no money left.
So
the money is based on debt.
Well, yes.
It's a Federal Reserve note.
The system is based on
loaned
debt.
into existence.
I thought you believe in sound money. So do you believe that money?
Yeah, the dollar is not
advocating
sound.
something and acknowledging that something exists are two different things. I believe in a free society. That doesn't mean we have one.
Right, the dollar isn't sound money. None of us here believe in the dollar. We use the dollar because you have to, for the most part, to get along in this particular life. But that doesn't mean we believe in it or support it.
Realistically, what will happen is that the U.S. will print more money, which will basically make Treasury yields. It will be factored into the Treasury yield that the dollar is worth less, right?
Sure, that's inflation.
Eventually, what will happen is U.S. Treasuries will be replaced by Chinese Treasuries or some other country that doesn't do.
Yeah, I mean, color me unconcerned about that.
The Chinese are devaluing their currency at a breakneck speed.
Well, all currencies are devaluing. That's the only reason why currencies play off one another in the marketplace is because they're all devaluing at different rates, right? So, like right now, thanks for the call, Greg. Appreciate the discussion. Right now, I don't know what the rate is of Canadian dollar compared to the U.S. dollar, but it's constantly changing. The Mexican dollar, peso compared to the U.S. dollar. It's changing, but that's because they're all just printing as they want to. Venezuela's printing like crazy, so theirs is the worst of the entire planet
today.
But it's just, the worst versus the best cancer is really what we're talking about here, which is why getting to real sound money is a good idea, which we can come back with.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Your property and your family are precious. Protect them with Blink. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up fast, and their batteries last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening in your home anytime, anywhere. No contracts, no subscriptions, and Blink works with Alexa. You can get 3 Blink cameras for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Blink is an Amazon company.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Oh, because we pass a law, they'll just all disappear.
Right, yeah.
Man, it's just amazing how powerful laws are.
Yes.
How just
laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something. It's really, really stupid.
What will be stupid is if they vote for it.
Yeah, if
take our guns.
You know, these criminals with the guns are going to kill people.
Yeah, they already are, apparently.
And if you don't have a weapon of your own, you're just as good as dead. Once the laws go into effect, that there shouldn't be any weapons anymore because then they know that the good people don't have weapons.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or jump into the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. We got 4 of them. Just head over to discord.lrn.fm. You can pick one, jump in there, and we'll get you on the air here with us in the studio tonight. It's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
For a long time, libertarians have been wanting what Liberty.menu has finally created. An actual, usable, beautiful, easy-to-use libertarian business directory. That's basically what Liberty.menu is.
The black and yellow pages.
Yeah, and it is also not just businesses, but also events and digital content creators. You're welcome there. If you're a liberty-minded person, if you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and who agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use Liberty.menu. So get on over there and put the thing that you do, or more than one of them, up on Liberty.menu, because it's free. So there's no reason not to do this at Liberty.menu, unless you don't want people to know you're a libertarian. If that's what you want to stay in the closet, well, then you probably shouldn't be on Liberty.menu. But if you don't mind people knowing that, and you want...
Then it's free advertising.
Right, then it's completely free. And you can do some upgrades if you want to help promote your item more so than the others on the site. But by default, it's a free site, and it's great. You will enjoy it. Liberty.menu, use code FTL, and you get a special Free Talk Live listener badge on your profile. Once again, Liberty.menu. Great URL, too. Super easy to remember. As we continue here, you can bring up anything you want. We were talking about the debt, actually, a few moments ago, this idea that something must be done. And it's certainly a political issue, right? Like the politicians...
People talk about the debt all the time. I mean, and it's I talk about it all the time.
It's noteworthy to identify. Right. Like it's not unimportant. It's still noteworthy to identify how insane the spending is of the government. Right, that's one metric that you can look at, is to see how the debt's going up over time. And as you pointed out, Mark, whether it's George W. Bush or Barack Obama,
it doubled under Bush, it doubled under Obama, and if it doubles under,
do the same thing under Trump, right? So, in fact, your prediction of the Trump presidency was at the end of a second term, you believe that the debt will have doubled.
At the end of 2024. Whomever is president, I think we will probably see a doubling of the debt to about $40 trillion.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if Hillary takes over for the 4 years or if
it really
Trump's the
doesn't.
one who's in charge there. So, and it's not to say that the government money system is something to be ignored. It's something to be very seriously considered. So, I mean, we need to talk about money, and we need to talk about sound money and how to get out of this government money system. And of course, cryptocurrency, to come back around to a topic we were discussing earlier, cryptocurrency is one of the ways out of it. Because that is a money the government cannot control.
Yeah.
And it is a way out of a system in which as you pointed out, Mark, the money that we have is built on debt. The money only exists because of the debt system.
It's a Federal Reserve note. A note is,
it's evidence of debt.
Right. That's what you call the loan in your car, the loan in your house. They call them a note.
Correct. So how do you get away from that?
It's not called a bill.
There's still value that's being transferred out there, right? Value is being created in the marketplace with new ideas being combined with old ideas, and new ideas being made into new things and products and services. So there's constantly value being created in the marketplace. To some extent, the debt notes that we have are the default way of realizing that value, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. There's no reason why we can't transition to a different money system of cryptocurrency or something else that we haven't seen yet. But cryptocurrency is the first major step towards something different, towards a system based on actual value, toward a system based outside of the control of bureaucrats and outside of the control of bankers. And they are scared to death of this happening, which is why you see the stories by these old bankers coming out and talking about Bitcoin isn't going to work. This is a terrible idea.
You'll become terribly, terribly poor.
Yeah.
As though you're not now, right? Like they've designed a system
to impoverish you,
where they have stolen, like they've destroyed the middle class.
Yep.
They've stolen that wealth. They've moved it to themselves. They've called themselves too big to fail. And now they have the audacity, the temerity to shake their old, wrinkled, green, money-stained fingers at you and say, oh, my God, you better not take any chances with this. What? What? You old thief! You stinking thief! You liar! Your hands are covered in the blood of innocents because you are part of the military-industrial complex. Your desire for more money funds the war machine, and you dare tell me that Bitcoin is bad? Oh, well, what about the carbon and the atmosphere? Bitcoin's doing
energy.
A lot of mining.
There's a lot of energy.
What about all your stinking fluorescent lights and all your banks?
Yep.
Okay? I mean, and besides that, when was the last time you cared about the environment? Now suddenly you care about the environment?
How about every computer running in every single bank building with all those lights and everything? I mean, the amount of power being consumed by the banking industry will dwarf whatever it is that the cryptocurrency world is doing.
It's ludicrous.
Because you don't need a bunch of people to be involved in mining Bitcoin. You know, one person or a small group of them can own vast, server racks full of miners. And that's all. They just need one tech to go around and pull out expired cards and pop new ones in. You don't need a whole lot of upkeep in that particular world. And so, anyway, cryptocurrency is the way out of this that we currently see. We used to love the idea of gold and silver, and it's still a fine thing to protect your wealth against the ravages of inflation. I think historically gold and silver and precious metals have proven themselves in that way. So there have always been ways for people to take the money that they're getting in dollars or whatever other fiat currency in the world and put it into something that protects them. But the difference between, of course, cryptocurrency and gold and silver is that cryptocurrency is easily exchangeable. It's easily movable. It's not easy to send silver, to somebody. You got to pack it. You got to ship it. You got to hope the shipper doesn't steal it.
Right. If I want to send silver secretly to somebody in North Korea so that they can live a slightly better life, I'm going to have one hell of a time doing it. However, if they've got a smartphone, as a matter of fact, it's possible even with a dumb phone with is it text-to-coin?
Cointext.
Cointext.io. With Cointext.io, I can send to their dumb phone. I can send them some cryptocurrency, which maybe they can.
We don't know if that's valid in North Korea at this time, but we'd have to ask Vin about that next week. He'll be here. Is it next week or this week?
The technology is coming down the pike.
Yeah, it's coming.
The technology to get my handful of silver dimes to those people, not there.
No, and it won't ever be there. However, there is the Liberty Dollar too, which we should talk about here because there was a contest. You mentioned at the very beginning of the show. We've been doing
the contest has been drawn.
We've been doing a giveaway. You were getting entries right up until the very end, too, by the way.
Yeah. Lots of entries.
So thank you to everybody who entered that contest because, well, who doesn't want some free cryptocurrency, especially crypto that's backed up by actual silver pieces, which is what the Liberty Dollar 2 vision is. It's a cryptocurrency token on the Ethereum blockchain, by the way. We were talking about Ethereum earlier tonight. And it's backed by vaulted silver, which you can ostensibly, now we haven't had a chance to actually try this process yet, but you can redeem. If you want to actually get the silver, you can do that with the Liberty Dollar 2. Do you remember the winner's name?
Yeah, remember
Wasn't it Spencer?
I just said thanks to him. I don't have it sitting here right in front of me. I'm sorry, Ian.
I'm sorry. I did kind of pull that on you. Well, I'm sure you'll pull that up here in a moment. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll give you the winner's name again. I know you mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but it was the beginning of the show. We're coming up here in moments. You can join us. Stuart. Okay, I was close. It's Free Talk Live. I had the S right.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Epigenetics and the sins of the father. GodSaidManSaid.com. U.S. colleges, new mental institutions. Close Satan's secret door. GodSaidManSaid.com. Mummies and the sons of Ham. Alcohol and Christians. Geologists say yes to crucifixion. GodSaidManSaid.com. Which religion? Which Bible? Quantum physics to Adam's rib. Hours of text and streaming audio. GodSaidManSaid.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free, bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Melanie.
And Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com and enjoy all the features that we have on the site completely free. Of course, if you do want to contribute to Free Talk Live, one of the ways you can do that is through cryptocurrency. We do have a page on the site dedicated just for that. You go to bitcoin.freetalklive.com, or I think crypto.freetalklive.com also works. But it'll take you to a page with a Bitcoin and Dash and Bitcoin Cash QR codes on to which you can donate.
Yeah, whichever ones you want.
If you feel so inclined. And we were just talking about the Liberty Dollar 2, Mark. Can we give the winner's name? Do we give the first and last name, or just...
Can you stop doing this to me?
You don't remember his name? It was like Spencer.
It's Stewart.
Oh, Stewart. Yep. Okay, so you don't want to give his last name.
Buddy, you didn't ask me to have this pulled up. I looked.
I thought you were pulling it up at the end of the last segment.
I did, but I didn't keep it up. Bolton is his name.
Okay, very good. Stanley Bolton, you say?
It's Stewart.
Sorry, see, I'm bad at this as you are. Stuart Bolton. All right, great.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Stuart. He won the 10 Liberty Dollar 2s, which the folks over at Liberty Dollar 2 at ld2coin.io.
Don't leave that page open in case you ask me again.
Yeah, thanks. At ld2coin.io are going to help him get a wallet set up if he doesn't already have one. I mean, if you already have a wallet set up.
Extra von Nothaus, the guy at LD2Coin, they're going to help him do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you already got a wallet set up, then you may already know what you're doing. If you've had Ethereum tokens before, then you know how to do this.
Yep.
But a lot of people haven't. A lot of people, this is new for them. Anyway, go to ld2coin.io because the limited edition tokens that he's won 10 of these things. It's a $350 value.
Mm-hmm.
These limited edition tokens, there's only 10,000 of them, and last we checked, there were less than 4,000 of these things left. So if you want to get in on the pre-sale, because eventually there's going to be a not limited edition that can continue to be minted, so to speak, into the future. So if you want to get in on this limited edition, go to ld2coin.io. You can read the white paper and get into this. Part of the value I think that I think a lot of people will be excited about is the idea that cryptocurrency sort of by its nature could go to zero. Right? Like if it fails, it could go to zero.
There could be a catastrophic news surrounding cryptocurrency tomorrow, and hacked, and I don't know what terms they would use, but basically
it's unlikely that those things will happen. It could,
and whereas silver, not likely that would happen.
Silver is generally going to be worth something, and so the idea is there's a floor on this particular crypto, on the Liberty Dollar 2. There's a floor of the price of silver.
Right.
So it's an interesting concept. You go to ld2coin.io. You'll learn more about it there. Legal news here, according to techdirt.com, it doesn't appear the Supreme Court will have to resolve a circuit split on the FBI's malware warrant used in its Playpen child porn investigation.
Okay.
Longtime listeners will remember the Free Talk Live studios were caught up in this particular investigation more than 2.5 years ago.
More than 2.5 years ago. Haven't heard anything about it.
Coming up on 3 years ago, they raided our studios, alleging that somebody on one of the computers, ostensibly here,
a computer that was on our Wi-Fi.
Yeah, somebody on the Wi-Fi here, ostensibly.
More than 100 people had access.
I don't know if it was that many, but it was a lot. I would say dozens of people did have access to it. Anyway, they say that somebody went to this website that was run by the FBI. Eventually, they'd taken over a site on the darknet.
It's worth pointing out to everyone listening that during March of 2015, the Federal Bureau of Investigations was the largest distributor of child pornography in the world.
That's correct. For 2 weeks.
Yeah, they did it. They distributed child pornography. And if distributing child pornography is bad, and I'm willing to agree that it is, then why would it be okay for the Federal Bureau of Investigations to do it? It's not like they got everybody. They distributed this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even get close to everybody. Most of the people aren't even in the country.
They did raid, I don't know, a lot of places, and they did make over 100 arrests.
More than 100 arrests.
Some of whom were actual child porn producers.
They went and arrested their own co-conspirators. Like, well, yeah, if I go out and deal crack, I'm going to meet a lot of crack dealers.
That's true.
So if I go out and distribute child porn, I'm going to meet a lot of people that use child porn.
And that's what they did.
This isn't amazing.
If the FBI went out and distributed crack, as you said, and a whole bunch of it, lots and lots of crack, and then arrested something like 0.01% 1% of the people to whom they sold crack.
Then they can say, we really put a dampener on this drug dealers, right?
Ladies and gentlemen of America, Mr. and Mrs. America, would you call that a victory? Because I don't call that a victory. I call it a victory in distributing child pornography, but not a victory in stopping it.
There's also, so that's just sort of like the basics of what happened, right? Then you get into the dirty details of exactly how this operation was being run, and it gets even uglier. The same day, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, according to Detector, found in favor of the FBI, the Seventh Circuit reached the same conclusion, and they link to the court orders, bringing the FBI's good faith total to 5 appellate wins versus 0 losses. The Seventh's reasoning echoes that of the other circuit courts. The warrant may have been invalid, seeing as its jurisdictional limits were immediately violated by the FBI's malware deployment.
By the way, law is an opinion, and it's my opinion. Oh, yes, this warrant was invalid as heck.
And all of the courts have agreed. The warrant was invalid. However, they're basically saying, no biggie. That's essentially what this boils down to. Because if you don't recall the case, the FBI went to a magistrate judge, which is like one of the lowest level, apparently, judges.
Right, traffic court judge, basically.
They went to a judge in like Virginia or DC or something like that, and they only had jurisdiction over a very small plot of land, basically, and said, we want to put this malware on this website and infect people's computers and get find out where they're located, and ultimately
admittedly infect the computers of people who are visiting a child pornography website.
That's what their intention was.
That's the idea was. Yeah.
And so the judge approved the warrant, but the thing is, the judge couldn't approve a warrant for beyond its jurisdiction. So technically, the warrant only applied for computers that happened to be in the jurisdiction where that magistrate judge was, not every other state or every other county or wherever it was that was outside of that jurisdiction.
Right.
So it was an illegal warrant because it was then allowing the FBI to install.
Why not go to a federal judge? I mean, if you can get the federal judges here to say, this is in good faith, then one would presume
laziness
that they could have done that to begin with.
Incompetence or laziness. I mean, those are pretty common among bureaucrats.
I'm of the opinion that if I was sitting on the court and the Federal Bureau of Investigations came to me and said, hey, we're going to distribute a whole bunch of child pornography, I would say, no, you're not, gentlemen.
Here's the excerpt from the Seventh Circuit Court. Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 41B1 authorizes a magistrate judge to issue a warrant to search for and seize a person or property located within the magistrate judge's district. This warrant, they say, extended to people and property located outside of the magistrate's district.
Pretty clearly.
Defendants contend that a void warrant is tantamount to no warrant at all, nullifying the good faith exception. We disagree, said the court. Even if the warrant were void ab initio, which means from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We would treat this like any other constitutional violation. We see no reason to make the good faith exception unavailable in such cases. What is the good faith exception? Well, in summary, it essentially means that, they had the best of intentions when they were doing this. They just wanted to bust some child pornographers.
It's the reason why a lot of police departments make you fail an IQ test before they hire you. It basically says if you can come up with staff who's stupid enough to believe anything you tell them, that it's okay, the Constitution doesn't apply to them.
Right. If they were doing it on accident, we didn't know. We're just trying to bust the bad guys. We didn't realize we were violating the warrant and doing illegal things. Good faith.
The warrant is a technicality to me. To me, what the problem is the United States federal government, through the Federal Bureau of Investigations, was the largest distributor of child pornography on the planet in March of 2015. And anybody who thought that was a good idea clearly doesn't think that child pornography is bad.
There's more coming up here. Your thoughts, welcome. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Hearing a lot about CBD these days? Yes, but which CBD products can you trust? Which website can provide proper education about CBD along with high-quality products? The answer? CBDonly.com. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of hundreds of compounds found in the cannabis plant and one that contains a variety of medicinal benefits. Many doctors are starting to recommend CBD to their patients as an alternative or supplement to some pharmaceutical medications. CBD is becoming widely known to relieve pain, inflammation, and anxiety. Unlike THC that is found in the plant, CBD does not have psychoactive effects. In other words, it does not give the effect of being high. All CBDonly.com products are lab tested to ensure the highest quality standards. Shop CBDonly.com for CBD oils, edibles, vapes, skincare, even CBD for your pets. That's CBDonly.com. And to receive 15% off your order on CBDonly.com, use discount code CBDNOW. Remember, shop for CBD products you can trust. Shop CBDonly.com, your CBD superstore.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain right here. Enough time for you if you dial in now. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got our Discord call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. And don't forget, speaking of Discord, didn't really tell you a whole lot about what that is. It's a chat server. You can go and interact with other Free Talk Live listeners during, before, and after the show. It's there 24 hours a day. It's also there during some of the other shows on LRN.FM. So if you want to interact with other freedom lovers and some not so freedom lovers, because there's no litmus test to get into the server, we'll let anybody in there who behaves themselves and doesn't threaten everybody. If you start threatening people, there's a special room just for you. Called the Toxic User Zone. But otherwise, it's a pretty well-behaved server, and there's actually, I think, about 600 of the 800 or so people that are on that server are active within the last month, so it's actually a very well-used, active server, and it's fun. It's free. So go to discord.lrn.fm. You can get on there.
Doesn't suck like Facebook.
I agree. So head on over to discord.lrn.fm. Now, what does suck is the federal government courts just deciding, yeah, those warrants were illegal, they were invalid, but, you guys had the best of intentions while doing it, so we'll just go ahead and let that slide.
Yeah, we don't really do warrants anymore.
Right now, these warrants, they're just a formality anyway.
They really are.
And so they're just basically coming right out here. This is more from techdirt.com. We're talking about when the federal government ran as you pointed out, Mark, the largest child porn distribution website for 2 solid weeks in the year 2015, which resulted in several investigations. But regardless of the investigations, some of the numbers that I remember we read previously was in the hundreds of thousands, ostensibly, of images and or videos that were served out of this federal government server.
Yeah, I think it's almost 1 million images.
And that led to only, 100 arrests. So, there's how many other thousands of people out there that access those things served by the federal government? Anyway, going on. This is the interpretation here by techdirt.com, basically announcing that yet another federal appeals court has looked at this issue and ruled in favor of the federal government. So the opinion piece here.
Looks like the federal government does not think that the federal government has done anything too terribly wrong.
Correct. By Tim Cushing says, I'm sure the Seventh Circuit Court didn't mean to make it sound like it would excuse any other constitutional violation, but that's kind of how it reads. What the court's saying is it won't suppress the evidence obtained with an invalid warrant. It doesn't go so far as the other courts have to find that there's no deterrent effect in suppressing evidence because the illegal actions engaged in by the FBI were made legal after the fact because they changed the rules.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that, but they basically modified the Rule 41 that they're talking about here that had prevented, ostensibly, this judge from making a warrant that could go beyond his magistrate's district. They changed that rule to make it so they can do that now.
Yeah, now that's fine.
Apparently. But it does say suppression is unreasonable because it punishes the FBI for the magistrate judge's error.
It punishes the FBI for running a child porn site.
Oh, no, they're not being punished for that.
But the FBI went to the magistrate judge and
said,
asked for
can we run a child porn site?
Right. Yeah. Another quote from the decision. The deterrence rationale for the exclusionary rule aims at the conduct of the police, not the conduct of the magistrate judge. And then they cite some case. Thus, whether the magistrate judge lacked authority has no impact on the rule. As Leon explains, penalizing the officer for the magistrate's error rather than his own cannot logically contribute to the deterrence of Fourth Amendment violations. So basically saying that, well...
Because judge shopping isn't real. That's why they went to the JP.
Yeah. So
What's the JP?
Justice of the Peace.
The magistrate,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So
the lowly, traffic.
Are you
judge.
saying the reason why they went to this low judge is because they knew they'd get the warrant easily from this judge as opposed to a different judge?
I don't know the specifics enough to say that definitively, but that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for a warrant like this, why would you go to the most local judge you can find?
It's really I really don't understand that particular part because it looks like the federal courts of appeals just don't seem to have a problem with this, which would then suggest that they could just go anywhere and have gotten a warrant that allows them to distribute a million images of child pornography around the world and then pick up 100 people. And for the those kind of catch numbers, it basically looks like they just want to distribute child pornography.
What's more troubling, says TechDirt, is that its discussion of the FBI's good faith grants credence to one of the FBI's more disingenuous arguments, that the malware it sent was a tracking device rather than a search, making its deployment from a seized server in Virginia constitutional, because the FBI obviously can't control where tracking devices end up after they've been deployed. This legal theory has been criticized in other courts, even while finding the FBI overall acted in good faith. Then they quote from the Third Circuit's decision, which calls out the FBI for its appellate-level goalpost moving, saying, quote, "We need not resolve the contention that the government waived this argument because we find that the government's tracking device analogy is," this is a word, inapposite, Inapposite. As an initial matter, it's clear the FBI did not believe that the
out
malware,
of place or inappropriate.
Thank you. So the tracking analogy is out of place. It's clear the FBI didn't believe.
It's not out of place. It's not inapposite.
Oh, so you looked up apposite. Okay,
right.
Gotcha.
Anyway. I didn't look up not inapposite.
It's clear. No, you looked up apposite or inapposite?
Inapposite.
Right. So the sentence here is we find the government's tracking device analogy is inapposite. So this was the court saying
out of place.
This is garbage. This particular thing is garbage.
I thought you said it was not inapposite.
No. As an initial matter, it's clear the FBI did not believe that the NIT, which is their term for the malware, the network investigative technique, was a tracking device at the time that it sought the warrant. So after the fact, they changed it to, this is just a tracking device. Warrants issued under the Rule 41B are specialized documents that are denominated tracking warrant and require the government to submit a specialized application for a tracking warrant. Here, the FBI did not submit an application for a tracking warrant. Rather, it applied for and received a standard search warrant. Indeed, the term tracking device is absent from the NIT warrant application and supporting affidavit. However, the Seventh Circuit gives the government credit where none is due. Quote, perhaps the warrant impermissibly allowed the search of computers outside the magistrate judge's district as the defendants suggest. But the government suggests another theory. It notes that under the Rule 41B, a magistrate judge can issue a warrant for the installation of a tracking device within the district that can track movement outside of the district. And further, they say the government characterizes the NIT as such a device, maintaining that its installation occurred in district because defendants were accessing servers located in that district.
That is absolute horse crap.
Absolutely not.
So I can go to a local city judge, and I can say that I'd like to put a tracking device on every car that ever passes through this town, which clearly most of them will not end up in this tiny little burb. And then I should be able to track them from everywhere? No!
It also means that I can do anything illegal I want online as long as the server is somewhere else. This is not how we do jurisdiction locus in any other scenario.
Law.
They say choosing...
I'm sorry, law is dead in America. Criminal law is just dead in America.
Having done that, final thoughts here from Tech Dirt. The court declares that it won't discuss the tracking device any further because it's already said suppression would punish the FBI for the magistrate's error. The evidence remains in play, and the convictions of all three defendants are affirmed. The problem with these decisions is they tacitly encourage law enforcement to ask judicial permission for illegal searches because if it's granted, it's the magistrate's fault, not the officer's. And evidence obtained illegally won't be suppressed because, after all, the officer can't be expected to be an attorney, right? The officers aren't allowed to make legal conclusions in theory. So
in theory.
The officer knows they're not going to get any kind of repercussions for asking for an illegal warrant. And then they can blame the judge for issuing the illegal warrant, at the same time pulling their hands off and saying, well, we didn't know. We're just dumb police officers.
We're just trying to catch bad guys.
When the FBI asked for permission...
And distribute child pornography. Yeah. Lots of it.
When the FBI asked for permission to engage in extraterritorial searches, the Department of Justice was pushing for removal of those jurisdictional limits. It's impossible the agent swearing out the warrant was unaware of this fact. It was a bad faith request converted to good faith by the magistrate's approval, whitewashing the FBI's actions and making the evidence unassailable in court.
Not to mention insulting the intelligence of every American that can read.
The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. You'll need that for tomorrow night if you want to comment on this or anything that we've discussed. One thing that there was one approach here that did seem to work for one of the people who challenged this, which was to ask for the NIT.
Okay.
To ask in discovery for, hey, you guys installed this thing on my computer.
You deserve...
I want the code.
Right. You're able to face your accuser,
right.
And if your accuser observed you in some manner, you're able to look at that, observational point.
The
right?
FBI tossed the case out.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Yes.
Because they want to keep this code, and they want to keep it a secret, and they want to use it to go after people who are just going to take a plea deal.
Who will just take a plea deal, yes.
All right, so, and in theory, it could be used for something useful, like, actually like catching a terrorist or something like that, but not in this
use it
case.
for that.
We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us at freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
Temporarily from Gotham in the Empire State, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of November 2nd through the 5th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.67 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,232 per ounce. Zen is trading at $15, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,397. Antiwar.com reports with Afghan security forces suffering record casualties and their already tenuous controls slipping all the time, things are looking dire in Afghanistan. But from the Taliban perspective, all these same stats add up to things looking pretty good. The Taliban is getting stronger all the time and now controls more of Afghanistan than at any time since the 2001 U.S. invasion. That control is extending in all regions of the country, with them contesting substantial portions of even vital provinces or controlling them outright. That's true even in the capital city of Kabul. According to the most recent Zygar estimate, 12% of Kabul is under direct Taliban control, with another 32% of the city considered at the very least contested. All of this adds up to a Taliban able to contest virtually any part of Afghanistan they choose, able to make a serious run at seizing almost any city in the country, at least temporarily, and can carry out so many simultaneous offensives that the Afghan military can't react to all of them.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Reuters reports the man accused of fatally shooting 11 worshippers in a Pittsburgh synagogue during Sabbath prayers pled not guilty on Thursday to federal hate crimes charges and other offenses as the city's Jewish community buried 3 more of its dead. Robert Bowers, who had been wounded in a gunfight with police and made his initial court appearance on Monday shackled to a wheelchair, walked into Thursday's proceedings upright and without the need of assistance, wearing a red jumpsuit and a bandage on his left arm. He spoke little other than to say he understood the charges against him and that some of them could lead to the death penalty. He then entered a plea of not guilty to all 44 counts against him. He also requested a jury trial. Bowers appeared sure of foot and exuded a demeanor of confidence, answering questions put to him by U.S. District Judge Robert Mitchell in a clear voice and signing papers with a steady hand. The indictment returned against him on Wednesday includes 11 counts of obstructing free exercise of religion resulting in death and 11 counts of using a firearm to commit murder. December. A one-time truck driver who frequently posted anti-Semitic slurs and conspiracy theories online, Bowers is accused of bursting into the Tree of Life synagogue last Saturday with a semi-automatic rifle and 3 pistols and opening fire in the midst of Sabbath prayers as he shouted, "All Jews must die." In addition to the mostly elderly congregants who died, 2 were wounded along with 4 police officers before the suspect was shot by police and surrendered. Prosecutors have said they will seek the death penalty. Bowers has also been charged in state court with 11 counts of criminal homicide and 13 counts of ethnic intimidation, though authorities have said prosecution of the federal case will take precedence.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Antiwar.com reports in their latest damning audit of the Afghan war, the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction found that the Central Command had been routinely violating the deployment requirements for advisors to Afghanistan. Under mandated deployment rules, anyone being sent to Afghanistan to serve as an advisor is meant to undergo advisor training first. Only about half of those surveyed received any training at all, and mostly not the right sorts of training. Saigar further found that the Pentagon does not have any metrics to gauge what progress, if any, is being achieved in the costly advisory programs. They not only haven't been tracking it, but they don't have the means to attempt to do so. Saigar warned that with no goals set and no way to measure progress, it's impossible to tell if anything was accomplished. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Buying a burger might start taking a bite out of your wallet. Meat prices skyrocketed this week after the place that makes the meat revealed that the cow smashing machine is all beefed up.
This machine has beef way up in it. The basher, the meat collector, even the main meat hole, all of it. Lousy with beef.
The cow smashing machine is an integral part of the meat-making process, taking whole big cows into one end, with all different meats falling out the other. Supermarket chains warn that unless we start smashing cows again soon, we could face a serious beef shortage. The beef industry is working hard to unclog the cow smasher, but says it could take several days or even weeks to scoop all the beef that's crammed up in there. Until it's fixed, meat-hungry Americans can take solace in the fact that the chicken grinder is working at full capacity, just completely tearing up all those chickens, and the pig machine is porking out hardcore. Up next, bluesmen find a rising trend of their babies done leaving on that their old devil train.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, undefeated here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom of the National Phoenix. You guys get up every morning just for that, don't you? Don't you? Well, I know I do. That and Bulletproof. Oh, yep, first day, 24 hours or longer, whatever, nothing to eat. No calorie has touched this tongue. So we're going to go at least a biblical 3-day, and then maybe I'll have a salad or something. But I've done it before, and it just purges out a lot. It gets rid of all the candy Man, I didn't super OD, but man, I didn't deny myself either. Come here, childrens. I got a bunch of candy getters. Well, let me see. I want that and that and that. Not that one, Papa. Okay. So this is a good purge, and I got to get down to where I can rock me a freaking pirate outfit. I'm going to go ooh. And it's just making a good body to be able to put a good pirate outfit on. Because here we go. All right. Now, last night, what I did, I went to a friend of mine at discussion group, Alan Corwin. Oh, Alan Corwin, man, Alan. And he showed it there, too. But he is an author and a Second Amendment advocate, and he also works with JPFO. He's always, working with the media. His big thing is media. He just, they got to say it right. Was it a shooting or a murder? Was it, a semi-automatic or an automatic? Was it, is it a clip or a magazine? I mean, that kind of thing. So he's all over the journalist's butt constantly. Well, he writes, too. He does a thing called Page 9, which is like the uninvited ombudsman, and he does a lot of good work. And he publishes, and he's a big copyright guy. We had him debate Stephan Kinsella on copyright and so on. He's got a new argument, too. I got an argument. And what we did is they're at Burton Barr Library, he was a politician, whatever. It's a big central library downtown, and it's like, 5-6 stories, and it has meeting rooms and display stuff, and, it's got 3 elevators, for the library. And it's a hub of activity. A lot of petition guys are always out front, getting signatures. And it's downtown. And they doing the downtown revitalization, density packing, multifamily dwelling New York City kind of thing, And which is interesting. You could see that in some growth map that I want to tell you about. But the event was Google. It was tools training for journalists. Now, this is a Journalist Association thing, and it was an Eventbrite kind of deal. And he told us about it. Well, Charles Goyette went too. I didn't know he was going. We go there, and I said, "What's up?" So I'm sitting there. There's probably, a couple dozen, if that, not that many. But it wasn't a big, giant room. It was one of their meeting rooms. And they had their PowerPoint going, and the guy came in on a grant from somewhere. Anyways, for Google, okay? So this guy's done like 130, 40 of these meetings around the country, and he's sponsored and paid to show journalists how to use the tools on Google. And I'll tell you, it's amazing the things that you can do. And I took notes and went through and took some pictures and graphics, and we'll get it together and we'll do it maybe next week. I might use some of the tools that they had. What you can do is you go into Google Earth or EarthGoogle, .com for the journalist, and a good example is when the Pollock shooting in Las Vegas happened. You can get 3D, different angle, whatever you want, angle of the buildings and orientation of the fields. You could do measurements with the click of your mouse, how far one point is to another. You can do overlays, before and after pictures of growth. You can have charts, databases from governments. You pull down, any statistic on anything. Voting, is an easy one. And you pull that down, you put it into a spreadsheet. You go in Google Drive and add the spreadsheets there, or you can do Excel or something. And you have a little code that you do, and you put it in the first field in the top left, and then it just populates all that data into a spreadsheet. Then you can organize it in any way that you want. Then, you can put it into a Google map, and it has the addresses like a database, like, or a membership database or something. You put that into the maps, and it charts. Like, you see a lot of these maps that have little pins in them, or any kind of icon. That's another thing. You can go find icon. There's one program called AutoDraw. AutoDraw uses some AI in it, and you go into even on your phone with your finger, and you just make a circle with a couple lines in it. And it gives you a bunch of options. Is this a baseball, a basketball, or this ball? You make 2 circles and you connect them, and they go, hey, is this a bicycle? Is this and it has these little icons up there that you can pull, it's like emojis almost. So I'm going, wow, man. So this is for journalists building stories and doing different things. You pull in the charts, the data, and if you embed it, as opposed to just like a screenshot, a JPEG, you're embedding a Google chart that you made from something that's interactive. It'll tell you where the data came from, what percentage of, and compare the trend, and a bunch of trend stuff and everything. I'm going, wow. I had a lot of questions, but my big question was, I don't see this a lot. Why aren't they don't know about it? They're too dumb to use it. You didn't give them a lesson yet. I mean, why isn't this used more? We gave a lot of examples that it is. There's a lot of publications that do. But that's what his job is. And he's probably, 50 or something. And he's just going around showing journalists and journalist groups how to do this, how to do the research, how to do the database, how to create the graphics, how to do the trends, how to, and then there's other services, third party, that interface with it to be able to see if a picture had been used before, if it's valid. Look at this big giant beach ball going down, and it wasn't. It's photoshopped by somebody, and it just kind of got viral. Or you have, I remember the story was Lake Michigan. It was just freezing. You had these big chunks of ice on everything, and the cars are just one. And that was a reused picture from Switzerland back in the day of 2005 and some blah, 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 blah. You can do different things, and you can get uncopyrighted Google images. Which ones can you use without having to get permission? And I'm going, really? Well, that's, which button's that, So it was kind of, I've seen a lot of this stuff. It wasn't a total surprise, a lot of it. But with practice, you could do awesome articles and interactive information. But I go, yeah, interactive. What happens when the data goes away? I got a whole bunch no longer available. I mean, oh, no, forever. We're Google. Probably. All right, more on that and some other goodies when we come back.
From the 4th letter of Captain Mark. Landlubbers are conditioned to believe that the originators of an idea deserve exclusive rights to it, but these innovators are nothing but privateers, granted a monopoly by the Crown. Potential inventors are restricted from using their own property and forced to navigate a wilderness of prohibited ideas. These pattern monopolies are intellectual colonization. This alliance of means between the Crown and the privateers is not an alignment of ends. Both collude to establish a permission culture, in which everyone second-guesses their own thoughts, never sure which ideas are permissible to develop. But their objectives are different. The Crown aims to cripple dissenting opinion, while privateers will only be satiated when all new ideas already fall under their monopoly. This scheme does not protect our information, but seizes it and denies us access. The future belongs to individuals who think, speak, and act freely to create and share without reservation. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Okay, let me go ahead and I got the training list here. Description for the Google workshop deal. A free workshop for journalists providing an overview of the Google tools journalists can use in news gathering. SPJ trainer Mike Riley comes to Phoenix for this Google tool training thanks to a grant from the Google News Initiative. The grant enables SPJ to pay the travel expenses for the trainer. Sign up today, seating limited to 40 participants. SPJ is a Society of Professional Journalists here in Arizona. And do you want to join? We have a holiday mixer and listen to, that would be interesting. I didn't think of that. I'm going, no, I'm good. But it would be interesting to go to, kind of just sit there. Can Ernie be quiet? Kind of just sit there and be quiet. Because when they, you put your business card in or something for a drawing or whatever, they're going to put you in some database, right? So I just know some of these guys, a couple of them from the Arizona Republic, and Charles is going, yeah, you know who that guy is and that guy, and I'm going, yep. And they're going to know when they open up the business cards and they start putting them in the database. Ernie, he was here as I am, damn it, because some of these guys I don't know by sight. But Charles did. Okay, Mike Riley will cover, for the first hour, Google Basics, Google Trends, Google Reserve Image Search, and verification tools. Make sure that they're
what they say they are, where did they first appear, did somebody use it for something else and it wasn't, and that kind of stuff, and whether it's not copyrighted and that kind of thing, which is interesting. Google Scholar, I don't remember what that was. Fun with Google Auto Draw. Auto Draw is you just start it's like going on to an Etch-a-Sketch and you just kind of did something and boom, it goes, this is what you wanted, right? And I'm like, yes, you are correct, sir. So that is, and it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's, close enough. I mean, you draw really bad and it still goes, boom, this is what you mean, right? And I'm going, man, that is, that's AI, or a hell of a big computer looking at a lot of stuff and comparing. What else is coming in artificial intelligence and Google Lens? I don't remember a lot on the Google Lens. Google Lens is where you take a picture of something and then it tells you what it is, kind of like the auto draw, And I'm going, really? You see some advertisements for some phones on that. Deep dive Google My Maps. Google My Maps. And this is where you can make your own map. You choose, you want it a terrain map, you want it a road map, you want it a floodplain map, and whatever. And you kind of have different backgrounds they emphasize. Or then you can overlay shapes. And it does, and I'm going, how does it know what shape to put? Because all of these data files of shapes of counties or shapes of different voting districts or shapes of, crime statistics or shapes of whatever, they have points on them that are not GPS, coordinates, longitude and latitude, that each corner has, boom, this and this and this and this, and they just go on, even no matter what you size and layers of them, like, wow, that this stuff is available so quickly. I mean, I knew you could do this kind of stuff, but I mean, just to merge everything, it was just amazing. Data scraping with Google Sheets. Now, this was interesting. For different, a lot of times, government agencies, they have public information officers, PIOs. And whenever you're doing a story or anything, you call them, all right, well, who's your PIO, or public relations, or public information, or PIO. And they have them for all the branches of the military, the Guard, police, all this kind of stuff. Who's the PIO for whatever it is, and you can do a search, and there they are. Well, I remember Charles and I, we would, have a bunch of these when we doing the show and everything. And one that we liked and we had a lot, she was a PIO for the Air Force here because we got big bases and so on. And I always knew to call her it's a UFO or doing something. One time I'm like, what the hell is a stealth bomber doing flying solo over Phoenix? And she goes, oh, that's for the opening of the baseball season for the Diamondbacks. They get a flyover. And I'm going, wow, okay, and a stealth fighter and so on. I was not digging it. So you go to these different data pools that they have for all kinds of different stuff, and you put in this code, and it takes the whole page, and then you just paste it into the top left corner of a spreadsheet, and boom, it populates all that data. And I just go, that is the coolest crap ever. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with that. So I'm going, okay, that's good. So you can scrape PDFs with Tabula. Now, this is when I missed it. I'll explain that in a little bit. Google Public Data Explorer. This is a lot of the same stuff. Then the third part, it was Google Earth Pro, Earth Engine Time-Lapse Tool, Google Street View. And this was a interesting, you could display and graphic where murders happen, where crime statistics, what vote totals are, environmental stuff, time-lapse photography of any place at any time, annually, every 6 months, whatever, and you can really see if the glaciers are melting or not. You can really see how a city grows. That was one thing they showed Vegas, and it just, exploded. And you see Lake Mead at the same time. As the city got bigger, Lake Mead got lower. Now, it doesn't tell everything because, what a lot of people here in the Southwest know, it was a drain from L.A., You know, L.A. just, I mean, Las Vegas doesn't even, it's not a blip, man, you know, compared to L.A. So it's just, so L.A. was the one that was draining Lake Mead. So, but it was a cool graphic to see that. Now, in Arizona, we go, hey, do Phoenix. So he does Phoenix, and Phoenix didn't really grow that much. It filled in. Because there's a lot of open land. They go out and out and out and out until they hit the mountain. And then now it's a lot of fill-in. It's just a lot of open fields. There's a lot of buildup. There's a lot of density going on. You know, it's about time. Then, but in the East Valley, you know, where, you know, Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, man, that was like a cancer, man. Just wham! Because it hadn't hit the mountains yet. Because there's mountains that you go, the Superstition Mountains, Lost Dutchman Mine, and all that's way out in the east. And then you got way out in the west, white tanks are probably 60, 70 miles apart. But the thing is that the developments will go up to the mountain, boom, and then it's and you can just see it organically. And I go, that is cool. Now, how would you put that into a newsprint or a web page story? Well, QR codes for anything goes to anything. But big thing is you embed the information, and that graphic, that video, that thing, that interactivity is right in on your website. And I go, okay, well, that'll be. They go, yeah, you could do all this. This article only took a couple of days. I do like 50, 70 a day. You know, I got time for that. But it would be cool for, you know, some of the presentations that we do in the videos we want to do and the interface of important article and stuff. It's good.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A report by Stanford University researchers released Thursday found that Americans spend 90% of their waking hours staring at glowing rectangles. Researchers identified more than 30 varieties of iridescent rectangles, ranging from personal and work rectangles to rectangles that heat food and those that can fit right in one's pocket.
From the moment Americans wake up, they are captivated by these bright, pulsing rectangles. In fact, if you look at the data, it's hard to find a single minute when the public isn't captivated by these, I'm sorry, where were we?
In local news, a run-over squirrel is remembered as frantic and indecisive. And in other news, a trail of rose petals leads a wife to a sink full of dishes. Prince Fielder reports to spring training exactly the right amount overweight, and a local yard sale reeks of divorce. If you don't hear the sound of my voice the same time next week, alert my family and then visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Thanks, Michael. Well, with the clock.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Okay, give you a little bit of national news that's here, local Arizona. Oh, my God. The Cinnamon McSally U.S. Senate race is like, a thing. They're spending, $100 million, whatever, untold amount of money. It's got to be Republican or Democrat, and this is the best chance that Democrats have had in a long time. Kyrsten Sinema spent an entire career building up to this moment.